Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Encased, which is our first stream of this particular game. I am your host, Arun Dragon. Quick reminder, if you like what you see and want to support the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I think you guys are probably going to like this. The designers of this game, they said we wanted to take everything that we liked the best about Fallout and Planescape Torment and Baldur's Gate and mix it all into a new game. Now, I think they succeeded pretty admirably. I was pleasantly surprised when I played this for the first time. And let me real quickly go to settings here and see about the... I don't like having to turn off the music, but again, possible copyright issues. And anyway, so the game is described as post-apocalyptic. Now, I'm not sure how post-apocalyptic it actually is, because you're inside a dome, and once you go in, living creatures cannot get out. So, you know, how it is outside the dome, I don't know, other than the corporation that has dominated the recovery of the artifacts inside the dome dominates most world governments. But inside the dome, some resources can be hard to come by in some areas. Let's go into the new game here. And we will... And you can see you've got 4 difficulty levels: Story, Journey, Classic, and Tactics. And you can click on more details. For example, in Story mode, you have 50% more hit points, and enemies deal 50% less damage. And your character's attacks always apply combat effects, even if there's less than 100% chance of the effect happening. Enemies never dodge, and hit points are fully restored after every battle. You can carry more weight. Your character always goes first in battle, and so on and so forth. Whereas if you go up to, say, Tactics, a companion who is on the verge of death will live for 50 turns before dying permanently, and there are no modifiers. Even so, this is one of those games where in the hard difficulty levels, they don't really deal more damage. They deal normal damage, and on all the lower difficulty levels, they deal less. So on Classic, your hit points are 25% more, and a companion who is on the verge of death will remain this way until resuscitated, so it's still not permadeath. However, since I'm just trying to show this game to you, I'm just going to go with Journey mode.
1971. We woke up in a different world, where the Cold War ended along with the Vietnam carnage. All because of the Dome. The Dome. A territory full of anomalous artifacts, phenomena, and organisms. We still don't know what it is. An alien city? Some kind of a testing ground or storage? Whatever it is, no living thing trapped under the Dome can escape it. Yet even this did not stop the research. The major powers created the CRONUS megacorporation to develop and explore the Dome. Its secrets became a lucrative business. The Spire station was built on top of the Dome to export the artifacts and import supplies and personnel. The city of Crystal Sands grew at the foot of the Dome, eventually becoming a major transportation hub. All this required thousands of employees, and there was no shortage of candidates. Romantics, pragmatists, and adventurers of all trades swarmed recruiting centers around the globe seeking jobs at CRONUS. You were one of those people. In 1976, your application was approved, and you went under the dome towards the future. Whether a good one or a bad one, only time will tell.
And speaking of possible futures in this game, there's actually 14 different endings, 2 of which you will always have access to no matter what happens, and the other 12 of which are unlocked depending on your actions and your relationship with the different factions under the dome. For example, one of the factions is essentially a church, and if you get them to trust you, then that unlocks another possible ending. One of their quests, they ask you to bring a specific artifact back to them, which has nothing to do with whether they trust you or not. You can either give it to them, or you can lie and say that it was destroyed, but keep it for yourself. And whether you give it back to them or keep it, that unlocks one of 2 more possible endings. If you keep it, that's one ending. If you give it back, that's another ending that you can choose from. So at any given time, you're probably going to have you're never going to have all 14 endings available to you in one playthrough. Some of them will be locked off, so you'll have to do multiple playthroughs if you want to see all the endings. There's also, I think there's like 13 predefined characters. Let me go to edit character, and I'll show you a little bit about this. There's 5 different wings in CRONUS. The Black Wing, which is the security guards that use the most powerful weapons and advanced military equipment. The employees protect humanity from the hazards of the dome. Their command is made up of the best officers from the most highly trained armies in the world, who coordinate their subordinates to provide maximum security for everyone from every wing under the dome. Now, you automatically get a +1 to muscle, +20 to fortitude, 15 to heavy weapons, hand-to-hand, melee weapons, and +20 to piloting. Or, you've got the Orange Wing. Every person deserves a second chance, especially those willing to make amends for their crimes. Orange Wing was created especially for such people. Its employees are everywhere, providing domestic service, from cleaning and delivery to manufacturing and construction. There's a lot of work to be done under the dome, and every employee of Orange Wing will make their own contribution. +1 to deafness, which is your dexterity and reaction time. +30 to encumbrance, +20 to criminal and survival. Then you've got the White Wing, which are the scientists. And they get +1 to brains, +10 to high-tech weapons, 15 to medicine and science, and +25 to biochemical resistance. Blue Wing is the engineers, basically. They're the ones that design the infrastructure from the ground up. +1 to guts, +10 to learnability, which increases experience gained, +10 to melee weapons, +15 to contraptions and tech. And then you've got Silver Wing, which is the administrators. And they get +1 charisma, +2 skill points per level, +20 to psionics and influence. Attributes, you have 8 attributes, pretty obvious. Muscle, perception, guts, charisma, brains, deafness, fortune, and psyche. Hello, Dyruger. Muscle is pretty obvious. It's physical strength, hit points, encumbrance, heavy weapons, hand-to-hand, melee weapons, and tech skills. Perception, which affects several different skills, learnability, initiative, and precision. In addition, it gives you a chance to notice something hidden. Guts, constitution, stamina, overall health. Charisma, obviously physical attractiveness and charm. Brains, your intellect. Deafness, your reaction time. Fortune, lady luck. Psyche, psi abilities and resistance to psionic attacks. You have your abilities here too. For example, and just like Fallout, you do have 3 tagged skills. So let's say I tag psionics. That's a plus 30% boost. And you notice these tiers at 30, 60, 90, 120, and 150. So this character, if I started now, she would have phase shift, castling, which is electrokinesis, cryostasis, cryokinetic, doesn't deal damage but immobilizes the targets, and ignite, which is pyrokinetics. All the way up to 150, which increases fortitude and resilience by 25. Traits, you're allowed to pick one trait that you meet the... You're required to pick one trait, excuse me. There's traits and there's perks, just like Fallout. So, Gun Fanatic, for example, you lose 5 to your initiative, but gain 40 to light, heavy, and high-tech weapons. Salieri is plus 20 to critical hit chance, but and minus 20 to all damage. So, Penitent one, obviously, plus 0.5 to incoming critical damage, but plus 10 to pretty much every skill, all the way down to Neanderthal. Close quarters damage plus 13, and you can't wear pants or jackets. Of course, everyone wears a jumpsuit, so... another one worth tagging, another good example would be Influence. Now you notice only 2 of these lit up. Barter, which is a passive ability, and Charm, which is a passive ability. But Intimidation did not light up because I need a muscle stat of 6. And Conviction did not light up because I need a brain stat of 6. So that gives you some idea how the tag skills work. But I'm going to... Oh, and also you can edit a lot of things like skin type. Well, not a whole lot of choices. There's Caucasian and Asian, which almost look identical, and African. Then there's different hairstyles. I think, yeah, 15 hairstyles all the way to bald. Then there's about 21 hair colors. Most of which are actually realistic hair colors. You're not going to find any purples or blues in here. And features is different things like if you could zoom in, like the multiple piercings on that one, or the glasses, whatever. And you can affect the color of the features, so you got a pretty good set of options here. But I'm going to go with one of the pre-made characters. There's Sigrun, who is a Central African military woman. And you can see her skills in blue, all weapons oriented. Blackwing, gun fanatic. Martin is Blackwing. Frank Foley. There's Abel. I want to do something that's not Blackwing because the character that's in my current playthrough is Blackwing. So, Abel is Blue Wing. Spirituality, his tag skills appear to be contraptions and probably piloting and light weapons, if I had to guess. Yeah, piloting, light weapons, and contraptions, just as I thought. Then there's Isaac Crowley. Light weapons, tech, and survival, I think. Not sure about that. And he's a survivor, which gives him bonuses to survival skill. Nadezhda Kulagina. And remember, the Blue Wing are the engineers. literally vampire. She was, whenever she kills someone, she's stunned for 1 round. There's Margaret Fontaine, the redneck, grew up on a farm. Well, at least she has, no, she doesn't yet, but she will. So what do you think? Should I go with an engineer, an ex-criminal doing civil service, a scientist, or an administrator? Remember, the administrators tend to be strong psychics too. I'm going to throw this out to the chat. Administrator, okay, that'll be the Silver Wing. There's Olivia Diaz. I think it's Silver. No, it's White Wing, excuse me. White Wing is Herman Stoltz is the son of a military surgeon. He's got a fragile physique, muscle of 1, guts of 6, brains of 15, and somewhat peculiar views on experimental medicine, so he wasn't welcomed under the dome right away, though he got there eventually. High-tech weapons is obviously a tag skill for him, science and medicine. He's a prodigy, graduated from university at the age of 11 and can describe his genius in 20 different languages. You are exceptionally smart, but you know so much that when interacting with the world, you get only half the experience. Yeah, no. Emily Polnareff, quite average in her profession, but she knew how to make friends. So she's got, looks like medicine, high-tech, medicine and high-tech weapons are definitely 2 of her tag skills. And she's got high perception and charisma, but very low dexterity, and her luck is 1. Let's see. Alan Woodpecker, he's a Don Quixote, who, see, the most advanced type of armor you can get is called a servo shell. So he gets +1 action point when he's wearing one, -1 action point when he's not. He's thieving and dim-witted, and attracted to 3 things: tits, cars, and monkeys. He liked primates so much that he even got a job as a security guard at the zoo, and then became a volunteer member of a research group to study the behavior of monkeys. He got under the dome after he accidentally fell asleep in a cage with them. Yeah, no. Oh, I'm not asking you guys to pick the character. I'll pick one, but I'm just letting you pick the. I'm just letting you basically pick which wing. You know, security, engineering, administration, that kind of thing. Well, there's really only 3. There's Alan, Emily, and Herman in the White Wing. Yeah, Emily is a slacker. Could lecture on the art of avoiding work, if you weren't too lazy for that. Loads of free time allowed you to develop exciting new perks and habits, but you're terribly reluctant to learn something new. But she's got tags in high-tech weapons and medicine for sure. I guess we'll go with Emily. She's pretty good. Well, her psyche's only 4, but... if you really want a psychic, though, you go with Silver Wing. Look at this guy. Psyche 10, Fortune 10, Charisma 11. But his perception is piss poor and his muscle is weak. Anyway. Am I correct about that? White Wing being administrator? Oh, White Wing are the scientists, excuse me. Silver Wing are the administrators. I should have been looking at them from the get-go. My bad. Okay. So, Silver Wing. Rufus Cooper. He's a slowpoke. So, he always goes last in combat. Tags in psionics, influence, and medicine. Eden Goodwin. Used to be a magician and hypnotist. Tag in psionics, influence, and science, actually. Cedric Maxwell, he's bossy, so which means he's a bit lazy, but he's not as good in psionics as the others are. Olivia Diaz, the Neanderthal, won't wear jackets or pants. Influence, weak in psionics, yeah, okay. Let's see. I think I'll go with Cedric. He's about as good an all-rounder as you're going to get. 6s in every attribute. Now, if you want to end the game quickly, you go straight to the porthole door and force it open, if you've got the strength to do it. You notice you start with 40 comm bonds. You start with 400 comm bonds, and then he starts with an extra 40 from being from Silverwing. 1 Selectron, which right now is not coded. And this is another thing that the game does to limit access when you're within CRONUS facilities. He can't get into a door that's normally opened by Blackwing personnel, for example, because his is going to be coded for Silverwing. A letter from CRONUS, yellow envelope, inside is a solemn letter in a font that mimics real handwriting. A foil postcard and a ticket stub to Crystal Sands. That's how you got there, basically. And your scanner. Favorite toy of the White Wing, and the main means of obtaining scientific data in the world under the dome. Right now, all he really has is those things in his jumpsuit. You can see these are things he can make if he doesn't have, even without a workbench. He can make a mechanical repair kit if he has if his repair skill is 30 or higher. Right now it's only a 12. He also needs 4 plastic, 5 spare parts, 3 bolts, 3 nails, 1 glue, 1 grease, and 1 roll of duct tape, and he can make a mechanical repair kit. Or, with the right stuff, he can do a weapon repair kit. You've also got, light weapons is one of his tag skills. I thought so. Psionics isn't a tag skill, but he's got a high rating in it anyway. And then medicine and influence. So, and perks, he's bossy, which gives him +2 to charisma, -5 precision, and -25 encumbrance. But he's also employee of the month, which gives him +1 charisma, +2 skill points per level, and +20 to psionics and influence, which is why his psionic skill is so high. Normally his psionic skill would be a 12. And you can talk to the other characters.
Orange is dressed in a new jumpsuit. The shiny badge on his chest reads, Quentin Bisley, Laborer.
Let's see what he has for barter. An Ace Griffin hard-boiled thriller paperback, which is +20 to criminal temporarily when you use it. Morning Dunes beer and some cigarettes.
He's side-eyeing the screen skeptically. Despite his tired, grim expression, his gaze is open and friendly. However, the general impression is unmistakable. There's something frightening about Bisley.
Let's ask him how he ended up in prison.
His face stretches into a broad smile, bearing his dentures to the world.
Like everyone, duh. In a black car, under guard. There's other guys, too. The ones who go through the front door.
He nods at the black-winged woman beside him. Her nose wrinkles in displeasure, but she says nothing.
Ask about the bracelets on his
Quentin
wrists.
Raises his hands to examine the devices.
They call them humane handcuffs. How about that? Truth is, there ain't nothing humane about them. They zap you real hard the moment you get your hands on a gun. But they sure look nice.
Bisley lowers his hands again and smirks. A guy wearing thick spectacles thrusts out a sweaty hand.
Monty James, Silverwing.
He glances down at your badge.
Ah, it's you. I found your file extremely interesting, and your CV wonderful. Inspiring, really. When I had the opportunity to look over the files of my future colleagues, I couldn't resist. I don't want to sound boastful, but silver level clearance has its advantages.
Monty winks.
And you'll notice that some actions are restricted by your wing. For instance, only a silver wing, like this character, can ask this one. Say that since you're a silver, you'd like to review the other employees' files.
Spreads his arms regretfully.
You misunderstood. I don't carry the physical copies with me, but I did get a chance to familiarize myself with them. Ask away.
Ask about the White Wing employee.
His plump hands to his chest, as if in prayer.
Tamako Kimura from Osaka, a physiologist. She's young, but already has a PhD.
James moves so close, his lips are all but brushing your ear.
Just between you, me, and that lamppost, Kimura has an older sister, Ayaki. She's currently in jail, and Tamako herself spent 2 years in prison, but that is strictly classified.
Ask about the Blue Wing employee.
The silver smiles and pats the blue on the shoulder. As the man turns to him, Monty raises his fist in some kind of a weird salute.
Gagarin, Sputnik, Cosmos, Mir, Druzhba, Krasen, SSSR.
He says in Russian. The blue's mustache twitches and his face wrinkles with a beaming smile.
Comrade Vatanen is from the Soviet Union. He's a highly qualified construction engineer. Took part in planning the Spire. He's no spy. Supposedly.
Monty explains, turning to you.
And parts of the text that are highlighted in yellow here, if you mouse over it, there's, since the discovery of the dome, its exploration has become an international project. 7 countries participated in the first expedition, and over time this number has increased. According to the most recent data, citizens of more than 40 different countries reside under the dome today. And then the Spire is a transit station built around the aperture at the top of the dome. Relics are moved up to it, and capsules with new employees, food, and equipment descend from it.
Elsa Olofsson, police captain, City of Stockholm. Former captain, to be precise. Dismissed from service because of a conflicting article. Yeah, conflicting. Let's call it that.
The silver says in hushed tones. The black gives him an unpleasant look, but says nothing.
This is, Quentin Bisley. Grand Theft Auto 3 times and 1 B&E. He was about to go down for 12 years, so he filed for the Clean Slate program. And look at that. They accepted him right away.
The silver shakes his head in disapproval and perplexity.
The CRONUS Clean Slate program is active worldwide. Its goal is to give convicts a chance to start a new life under the dome. To participate in the program, the candidate must file an application and fill out a special form, which is then sent to the Foundation's HR department. Selected candidates are accepted to the organization's Orange Wing and transferred to the dome. According to the most recent statistics, Clean Slate applications are accepted in 92.4% of cases. Exceptions are assessed individually.
Sorry, classified.
He's plainly flattered by your question.
Harvard. Then I worked in the economics department at Supercolor. They produced a special television model for commuter buses. Did you know that? That was my research.
The internal dome marketplace, from food and clothing to weapons and cars, is divided among several dozen corporations with CRONUS contracts. Despite there being no more than 35,000 people living in CRONUS facilities, it is a very promising and constantly growing market, bringing corporations billions of dollars annually. And his inventory is a Business Today magazine issue and a cup of coffee.
What else? Well, I like sports. Water aerobics is a sport, isn't it? I don't smoke, and never eat after 6 p.m. Just saying, these kinds of things aren't in the file.
So saying, Monty abruptly falls silent. A tall woman is watching an ad playing on the monitor, arms crossed. The polished to a shine badge on her black overalls reads, Elsa Olofsson, Security Service.
Blackwing, CRONUS Armed Forces deployed for military and police operations. For those who love uniforms, guns, and the smell of napalm in the
She
morning.
glances at you and offers her hand in a businesslike manner.
Greetings. Please take all necessary precautions. By that I mean, don't turn your back on him.
Elsa nods at the orange.
Ask her what's so dangerous.
Olafson eyes your silvery jumpsuit and snorts.
Really? I thought you'd be the one to tell me about it. After all, your department has access to all the orders and personal files.
Her gaze shifts to the silver standing opposite and then back to you before she turns indignantly to the window. Elsa's eyes spark angrily.
Are you saying you would take full responsibility for the possible consequences of that order? Was that a nod? Does that mean yes?
Olafson turns to the orange, produces a key, and unlocks his cuffs in a smooth, well-practiced motion.
Orange Wing, handyman, cleaners, test subjects. CRONUS provides a second chance for these former prisoners, often quite literally. The humane cuffs, a modern restraining device used while transporting Orange Wing employees, consists of 2 small steel bracelets with built-in taser that delivers a shock if he handles or attempts to use a firearm. Let's see.
A man with a mustache and a blue jumpsuit is standing at the window, studying the construction site below through the occasional break in the clouds. His badge reads Igor Patan, planner. The blue taps on the glass with one finger and gestures you to come and take a look. Seems like he doesn't speak English.
Talk to Patanen.
Using sign language, mimicry, and all of your artistic talent, you're able to communicate with the planner. Once he's sure you're watching, Patanen points up in the direction of Spire Station, from which you departed a few minutes ago. He sketches the outline of the station on a broad, foggy section of glass. Once he's finished, the blue turns to you with a delighted expression.
Ask him about the station's
The
dimensions.
blue begins to mark up his diagram with a series of footnotes and numbers. Turns out the station's ring diameter is a bit more than 1,500 meters. Its height above the dome is 317 meters. And the total height of the spire, including the loading docks, is nearly 720 meters.
Ask
With
him
a
how the
series
station
of confident
functions.
Strokes, the planner delineates the capsule's movement scheme, drivetrain, and massive hydraulic brakes on the glass.
Question him about the purpose of the station.
This time, Igor is quite laconic. He pauses, then confidently writes cargo and personnel in block letters, and draws an arrow pointing downward. Beside it, he writes relics, and draws an arrow pointing up. His R is turned back to front.
Thank Patanen for the lecture and
The engineer
leave.
stops you with a gesture, and after rummaging through his pockets, offers you a small candy. There is a picture of a crayfish on the white wrapper. Is this candy crayfish flavored?
Thank him and put the candy in your mouth.
Surprisingly spongy and tooth-achingly sweet. You can only wonder what it has to do with crayfish.
Status effects. Various actions such as eating food or taking medicine may impose certain status effects on you. They can last for different times and be positive or negative. Some attacks and abilities can also apply a status effect that changes the characteristics of the target. For example, bleeding or poisoning will greatly reduce health. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Crayfish candy. Remaining time, 2 hours. Yum yum. +3 to initiative.
The thin, pale young woman is sitting at the window, leaning against the illuminator. The glass is slightly fogged with her breath. She turns to you. Her shiny badge reads Tomoko Kimura, physiologist.
We've crossed the border. No way back now. Even traveling by the funicular wasn't so thrilling.
The white presses small hands to her blushing cheeks.
You were thinking, why have no children been born under the dome? I've got a working hypothesis, but I'm not ready to share it yet.
She says softly, as if answering a question you didn't ask.
Ask her if she sees the dark stain on the outer surface of the
Kimura
dome.
peers through the glass in the direction you indicate.
Oh, that's the aircraft that crashed into the dome during the first expedition. I believe that's a wing fragment, and there's some white canvas. What do you think that is? Maybe a parachute?
The white shakes her head, bewildered.
I just can't believe it. It's all true. We're on our way to meet the future.
That's what you meant by we've crossed the border.
Kimura shoots you a surprised look.
You're familiar with the details of the briefing, right? To put it simply, the dome is a selectively permeable environment.
The white draws an invisible hemisphere in the air.
Inorganic objects may exit the dome without difficulty, but any living creature dies if transported back to the outside world. That's why we're all stuck here for an indefinite period of time.
If you have Science 30, there's another prompt there, but you can't find out what it is, what you say, until you have Science 30, so...
Kimura is eyeing the dome's mesh, glittering in the sunlight.
Supposedly, it's something to do with the atmospheric composition, but it's a weak theory. The difference of the air within the dome is so insignificant as to fall within the margin of error. Or to put it more simply, there is no difference.
She shoots a quick glance at the silver and lowers her voice.
I heard a rumor, or a conspiracy theory, that we can leave the dome at any time. We've simply been told we can't. If you ever decide to test this hypothesis, don't forget to leave me something in your will.
Okay, we're going to use the door here.
Stopping by the door's porthole, you watch as the ground slowly approaches. It looks brown-black through the tinted glass and smoky blue at the horizon. It almost seems like the clouds are pulling apart there. You can discern the regular pattern of a settlement in the mists hanging over the northern section. If this is the city, it's nowhere near as miraculous as the brochure. Just a few concrete buildings surrounded by sheds. It resembles the hab pods of a space colony in a sci-fi film. Yet, the scale is impressive. In only 5 years, a small civilization has arisen from these bleak sands to tackle mankind's greatest project.
Quick question, do I need to increase the game's master volume, or is the volume sufficient for you guys?
The blues and oranges did their share of the physical labor, but the main credit belongs to the brilliant administrators from Silverwing. At least, that's what you were told during the pre-departure briefing. Just as you're about to move away from the window, you notice a whirlwind beginning to form above the ochre plain. The gathering storm drifts unhurriedly above the desert, a crown of green lightning flashing at its core. Clearly no ordinary weather phenomenon. It must be one of those anomalies. You freeze by the window, unable to avert your gaze.
The desert under the dome is not very hospitable, and sandstorms are quite common. Many scientists associate them with abnormal activity, but there's no direct evidence for this. Anomalies are a general term for a variety of physico-chemical phenomena of uncertain nature endemic to the dome. Recommended approach, steer clear or die.
You return to the window. A whirlwind is spinning. The outlines of the landing site, blurred by clouds of dust, appear behind the greenish glass of the porthole. The capsule shudders as the braking devices engage.
You can rotate the view, and in fact you're going to have to sometimes. Let me do something real quick and go to settings, sound. I'll turn the master volume up just a little bit.
Come here. Come on now, or you'll miss everything.
A cheerful man in a white lab coat grabs you by the sleeve. A badge reading Ludovico Nuzzi, scientific analyst, export department, dangles loosely on his clean uniform, which still smells pungently of washing powder.
Look over there.
He points upward with a sharp, wide gesture, and hands you his field binoculars.
Take the binoculars and look where he's
You
pointing.
raise the binoculars to your eyes. Under fourfold magnification, the whirling cloud above the rust-colored plains looks even stranger. Its core glows with flickering green light and flashes rhythmically, and that rhythm seems to form a complicated pattern. Nazi bends close to your ear.
Fascinating. Do you want me to bring some filters? If we intercept the red and blue spectrums, we'll see something amazing. It's like a signal, some kind of message.
Again, another option that's not available because I don't have Recon 30.
I don't know.
Ludovico laughs unnervingly and snatches the binoculars from your hands. With the binoculars raised to his eyes, he minutely adjusts the focus.
It's a massive whirlwind north of Concord. Not merely some desert sandstorm. That's an anomaly. I hope it lasts long enough for me to make a proper observation.
Ask him what scientific analyst export department
The
means.
scientist looks blankly at you, then down at his lab coat.
Ah, this? This?
He lets out a blaring laugh. Ludovico points at the building behind him.
I work in Concord Station, categorizing relics. My job is to classify them by rarity. Then the blues package them, silvers issue the documentation, and oranges move them to the cargo capsule. Just like the one you arrived in.
Nazi points upward.
Then the capsule takes the relics way up there, all the way to the spire, then to Crystal Sands by the funicular. They get auctioned off and turned into money. It's not like I endorse this, but we all like ourselves a good paycheck, right?
He offers you his binoculars once again.
Do you want to have a look at the spire? It's amazing. But then you can look at the spire anytime. Now that sandstorm, that's what's truly amazing.
Tell him you need to
Nazi
go.
looks from you to the capsule and to the landing terminal entrance. He flings his arms up.
Oh, mi scusi. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. You'd better get going or you'll be late for check-in. Your colleagues are already inside. And the storm is growing stronger. Yeah, the storm is growing stronger.
The white mutters in fascination, eyes glued to his binoculars, which is fixed on the spinning whirl of clouds.
Welcome back.
You'd better get to the station and don't forget to register or they won't let you on the bus, he shouts over the growing howl of the wind.
Have a good one.
If I had one complaint about this game, and I'm not sure it's much of a complaint, it saves way too often. Every time you go through a transition point, new save. Which on the plus side, it makes sure that you never lose a lot of too much progress. But on the other hand, take a look. We've had 3 saves just since I started the game. The young blue is closely studying a communication schematic in his Keras. A bundle of wires is hanging from an open fuse box nearby. He smells strongly of cheap cigarettes. His shiny badge says Tuyen Yun, Communications Engineer.
Hello there.
Hello, can I help you? Ask what he's doing. He taps slightly on the screen. I'm trying to calculate the optimal route for telecommunication cables. These cables connect the entire dome. Here at Concord, they form a hub and run up to the spire. This cable is the only thing connecting the dome to civilization, and if it happens to break... Therefore, my mission is to ensure a stable connection and a secure line, which is impossible without proper documentation. The way they're doing it here is a shame. A person could do time for that back where I'm from. Ask what about it is a shame in his opinion. The cables are laid improperly, and various factors are negatively affecting the signal strength. Wild animals damage the equipment as well. With a developed professional culture and quality control system, most of these problems could be solved in short order. Ask what animals he's talking about. They don't tell you new ones much. I suppose it's because of some security order, but in my opinion this whole thing reeks of sabotage, and in theory some silvers should be imprisoned for that. Sorry, I got distracted. You were asking about animals? Wolpers. Huge bald shrews. Very unpleasant creatures. Can I help with anything else? Ask his opinion about Concord. The idea itself... Yoon tugs at the blue collar cutting into his neck. The idea itself is impressive, but the execution suffered some failures. It's obvious the capitalistic system is obsolete and cannot support such grand-scale projects. Say you've learned everything you wanted to know and won't be bothering him anymore. Yoon bids you farewell with a firm handshake. Thank you for understanding. I'm not used to getting distracted and sloppy, especially on such an important issue. He returns to the calculations on his Keras screen.
See you again soon.
Yes, you can search the trash bin. Tin can. Hey, I might be able to sell it for something. Search the other trash bin. A pair of scissors. And a combond. Talk to Monty over here.
Just great, mister.
A silver wearing thick glittering spectacles is sitting on an orange couch, nervously fingering his badge, which reads Monty James. A large suitcase rests at his feet, with a leaflet about the dome perched on top. Ah, it's you. How do you like the inside of the dome? Say you're not ready to answer that yet. Not enough time has passed for you to form a clear impression. Monty stares moodily down at his suitcase. My first impression is unfortunately not very positive. They forgot to add my name to the new recruits manifest. Can you imagine? Offer to try and register him in the terminal. Are you for real? That would be incredibly kind of you. Maybe my optimism about this place and the people working here was justified after all. You evidently cheered him up quite a
Nice
lot.
chatting.
But first, we're going to go through this door and open this door and search the broken toilet. Hey, there's a lockpick. Remember what I was saying about all the status effects? We'll use the toilet. We'll use the mirror. We'll use the wash basin. We'll search the janitor's thing and take all of that. Use the hand dryer. Now you notice all these lovely statuses we've got now. If you, let's see, I'm not sure where it is. Oh yeah, there we are. No, greedy. Yeah, self-confidence from looking in the mirror temporarily adds +1 to my charisma. And then I'm getting a +3 to initiative from the crayfish candy and +1 from vigorous. So you can see some of the stuff that I've got going on here. Cryogenic resistance, +5 because I used the hand dryer.
Hello, come up to the desk, please. I'll register you.
A tall receptionist watches you from behind his desk with a bored, haughty look. He waves impatiently at you to approach. Noticing your silvery uniform, he offers up his best artificial smile.
Welcome. My name's Dean Rayhead. It's my job to help our new employee settle in. Please wait a moment or two while I register you.
The administrator slaps himself on the forehead.
Ah, I almost forgot the regulation pre-registration greeting. Just a second.
Listen to the greeting.
Rayhead produces a reel-to-reel tape recorder from beneath the desk, rewinds the tape to the beginning, and presses play. The speakers explode with a harsh, crackling sound, over which the tick-tick of a metronome slowly grows louder. Solemn music begins to play, and the administrator's face takes on a serious expression.
Dear employee, on behalf of the CRONUS Foundation, I, Administrator Dean Rayhead, welcome you to your new life under the dome.
The administrator clears his throat and continues.
By joining our company, you choose the path of science and progress. You are among mankind's best, and we ask that you live up to this.
Dean squints down at the monitor.
Deserve this title. Do your job honestly. Obey the law. Respect your colleagues and
The music fades, and the administrator finishes his speech.
And together we will build the best possible future for all mankind.
Dean puts the tape recorder away.
Now that we're done with the official greeting, I'll register you and upgrade your Selectron. Okay?
Say you're ready and begin the registration.
Dean's hands hover over the keyboard. He gives you a nod.
Dictate your information to him.
You spell out your first and last names and specify your wing, profession, and test results. The administrator's fingers fly across the keyboard as he enters your information into the CRONUS database. Rayhet scans the computer screen.
So your position in the waiting list was 63,784. You've been assigned to Magellan Station. A special bus will bring you there after a series of briefings. Please pass me your Selectron so I can update the firmware.
Dean snaps the docking port of your pass to a recess in the casing of his computer. The administrator returns your Selectron.
So, colleague, you now have first-level clearance, which gives you access to the archives on the administrative level, the warehouses, and basically everywhere else except the secure facilities. You also have admin privileges at most terminals.
Dean continues.
All new employees have a short list of tasks to perform on arrival. Do you want to hear all the details or just the short version?
Ask for the detailed
Rayhet
explanation.
nods and points at the ceiling.
First, you need a set of combat gear. Talk to Sidney Maynard. He'll give you everything.
Dean extends his second finger.
Second, weapons. Ms. Margarita Takachenko is the clerk at the armory. After she dispenses your firearm, you'll need to head to the training zone for a brief weapons handling exam.
The administrator straightens his third finger.
According to the latest regulations, all employees must attend a briefing on psi abilities. Apply to instructor Andriy Mihai.
Dean extends his fourth finger and looks at you meaningfully.
Did I tell you about the combat and tactical training? The fourth step is to visit instructor Winston Botherby. And finally, science is the overarching purpose behind everything we do here. Go to Professor Van Alden to learn how to study relics, avoid anomalies, and catalog scientific knowledge. This training is mandatory for all wings, not just white.
Dean finishes. Dean catches himself.
Oh, and when you're done with your trainings, proceed to the waiting room. From there, you'll travel to Magellan by bus.
Say that everything's crystal clear and
The
leave.
administrator looks up at you again.
That is all.
He reaches for the tape recorder, but thinks better of it.
Protocol calls for a little welcoming preamble, but dash it all, that's nonsense. Welcome to Concord Station.
As he's about to turn away, Dean suddenly remembers something.
Oh yes, I sent your mail to your Kairos. Check your new messages. Well, that's all, I think.
I kind of thought you'd like this one, Die Ruger. Which is one of the reasons that I wanted to do this. Register Monty James. You enter Monty James's data into the system, noting that the registration form for Silvers has several extra fields. Apparently, CRONUS sees its managers as a special case. Once you've double-checked your input, you press Send. With a beep, the system accepts the data and redirects you to the main menu. And you saw the +5 reputation with the Silver Wing go up. Let's check the news. A mishmash of symbols fills the screen. Taking a closer look, you realize the characters represent a photo. The image depicts a flaming ball floating above a lab workbench. 3 figures stand behind it. Scientists, probably, but you cannot make out their faces. Enter Read. The image of the scientists and the relic is replaced with text. 5 years of the future. Humanity celebrates discovery of the Dome Day. You skim the article, mostly a chest-thumping exhortation on the supposed future of human civilization. Return to the main menu. Enter Stat. Query executed flashes on the screen, followed by this text. Department Silverwing, clearance level 1. Assignment, procedural actions. Retrieve uniform and weapons. Complete military training. Complete scanner training. Report to administrator. Let's see what happens when I log in as admin. Hello, administrator. Please enter a command to select an option. Let's go to classified. Kingsley. 2 days after I assigned these tasks, I still have no data on the scope of the event. Neither did I receive a report from medical staff. Warhol. My fault, Mr. Kingsley. The reports aren't ready yet, but the GP did inform me of something curious. This may not be the first time expedition members have exhibited these symptoms. Deleski, The Ring, Warhol. Yes, Swarovski calls it Halo Eye. We're still researching the physiological effects, but we do have some preliminary data. Kingsley, I want all employees to undergo a thorough examination. I expect to have that information on my desk by the end of the week. We'll return to the main menu and log out. Then we'll go talk to Monty over here.
Oh,
Monty is sunk deep in thought and also in the cushions of the chair as you approach. He greets you with a slight nod but remains immersed in his reverie. Tell Monty you've added him to the database. Monty takes off his spectacles, rests them on the cushion beside him, and envelops you in a big hug. Thank you for such an impressive example of cooperation with a stranger. Perhaps the dome really is a special place.
see ya.
And he leaves, but now we can go through his suitcase if we want to spend a lockpick on it. $15 comm bonds. Folded clothes, a pair of starched collar shirts, casual slacks, and underwear. I can probably sell them off somewhere. The dome is your new home leaflet. He can keep that. And I can actually go in here because I'm a silver. Hacking software package. Yep. Nothing in the middle cabinet. Glue. Universal glue. Easy to use, lasts for ages, works quickly, holds firmly. It's important to ensure the surface is free of grease before applying. Do not consume it. Severe chemical poisoning for 300 turns. You can hold down the Alt key and that'll pop up. Stack of documents. CRONUS propaganda videos are playing on every channel. Okay, anyway. Robocharger. Robot charging ability is required for use. With this device, you can transfer additional energy to the RoboKid series robots. This will significantly improve their mobility, computing capabilities, and sensory processing, but only temporarily. Search this other box. Electrical equipment. Fans, heaters, rolls of wires, dirty air conditioner parts, and some other scrap. Let's see what Anna has to say here.
What do you want?
Not much, apparently. You see a slim, cheekbony silver woman with a red warning lamp in her hands. On the lapel of her perfectly ironed suit is a badge that says Anna Leroy, Administrator. Valued employees, according to the Administrative Order of September 14th, 1976, the waiting area may be accessed through the regular staff corridor. Please be advised that this rule does not apply to newly arrived employees. She pauses and begins to cough. Sir, I should cut down on the smokes. Good day, new employee. She nods like she's depressed. She seems to have just noticed you. Ask if you can go to the waiting room. Anna gives you a gentle poke on the chest with her warning lamp, forcing you to take a step back. Am I speaking gibberish or what? This rule does not apply to newbies. You need to go through training and... Persuade her you don't need a training because you know everything already. Oh God, come on. Don't forget to sign a waiver.
Bye-bye.
And you can go in, but I'm still going to talk to everyone.
Behind the storage counter, you see a small, neat guy. His gingery hair shines with something like brilliantine. His badge says, Sidney Maynard, storekeeper. The silver perks up at your approach. A thick logbook appears at once from under the counter. Sidney puts on thick glasses that seem to age him 5 decades in an instant and studies the lined pages. The silver finally stops and pins down a particular page with his finger.
This is your first uniform requisition, right? You can also purchase any equipment you need for the desert directly from me.
Ask him to issue your equipment.
Maynard adjusts his glasses in a businesslike manner.
And before I give you the uniform, please listen to these short instructions.
I'm listening.
Sidney fiddles with his hairstyle.
So, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Life under the dome can be dangerous. You may get shot, spill acid on yourself, get electrocuted, or suffer the effects of a dangerous anomaly. You may also freeze to death or get fried. That's why it's important to wear protective equipment when traveling outdoors. Of course, in hazardous situations, the equipment will get damaged, and the more it's damaged, the more often one has to repair it.
The Silver steps back from his counter to indicate the repair kit boxes piled in the back of the warehouse. He points back at the shelves behind him.
We've got repair kits for this gear. There are Blue Wing specialists ready to help you at any large base, of course, but they're not always available. So, you'd better learn how to use repair kits and workbenches on your own. It's a useful skill.
Sidney rests the logbook on the desk.
That's all the instructions. Now, I'm going to issue your uniform.
The Silver disappears into the back for a while and returns with a small package. Unfolding the package, Maynard shows you a brand spanking new uniform. A silver suit jacket with coal black shirt and dark trousers. Sidney studies the way the light reflects from the cloth as he lovingly smooths the jacket with one hand.
The Silver Wing uniform is fit for field conditions, just in case. But something this fine, you should treat with care, you know.
He raises a finger.
One more important thing. In accordance with Order 16-225, helmets and gloves are not issued, but they're available for purchase from me. Please bear in mind that a full set includes headgear or a mask, jacket, trousers, gloves, and boots.
Sidney hands you the package.
Here's your uniform. Enjoy.
Let's see what we've got. We've got our office workers' slacks. Minus 15 to evasion, but plus 15 to mechanical resistance, plus 10 to energy resistance, plus 3 hit points, plus 5 to biochemical heat and cryogenic resistance. Our office outfit, minus 10 to evasion, but a bunch of bonuses. And the patent leather shoes, plus 0.3 to movement speed. My evasion is at 0. It was at 18, now it's 0. He's not going to be dodging anything. Not yet, anyway. Now, let me... That's what I thought would happen.
Maynard puts his glasses on again.
You again? Pretty sure you got your uniform already. Anything else I can do for you?
Ask why it doesn't include gloves and a
The
helmet.
Silver assumes a serious expression.
There's nothing I can do about that. It's a result of the recent cost optimization order. Luckily, you can purchase these items from me. At market price, but yeah.
Sidney scribbles something in his logbook.
Please come back anytime if you need something.
Now that sound was me doing a little bit of cheating. And I only need to do it once. So, we're going to tow all of that. Let's see. And what that does is the cheat that I just used, it makes any item you sell, like an empty tin can, sell for 25,000 credits. Let's see, that's a lab belt, researcher's gloves, ordinary backpack, Delver K1 respirator, which is plus 10 to biochem resistance, Democritus helmet, capacious backpack. Well, my evasion is already 0, so it's not going to matter if I grab that. Shovel, yeah, might need one. Argentum gloves, simple and elegant. They provide the wearer's hand. There's several different sets of gloves here. There's your soldier's gloves, your work gloves, your isolator engineer gloves, researcher's gloves, Argentum gloves. Simple and elegant, they provide the wearer's hands with basic protection in case you must personally visit any facility. At the same time, they're comfortable enough to sign papers. Yeah, we'll take those. The super color compact teleglasses, ultra compact teleglasses with a minimum of functions, but at the same time they're very lightweight and do not rub the skin during everyday wear. A rare find under the dome. There's the worker's belt, the soldier's belt, the night watch cap, which is a soldier's cap really. We'll take that. And we'll take the Archimedes lab belt because of the extra relic slot. There we go. Now then. It doesn't show your backpack, but it does show everything else. And then the lab belt, which unlocks a second relic slot. Okay, let's move on. And talk to Margarita here.
The smell of good tobacco wafts off this tall, portly woman from a meter away. A black lacquered pipe, an open logbook full of signatures, and a metal flip calendar sit on the counter in front of her. A small nameplate reads, Margarita Tkachenko. The woman fixes her coppery hair with one hand and casually lights her pipe.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Her voice is deep and gravelly.
Ask for your personal weapon.
Margarita thumbs back a couple of pages in her logbook.
I see. This was your first receipt.
She glances at her Kairos, looks at you, snorts, and retreats to the shelves. A couple of minutes later, Tkachenko returns holding a small pistol. She puts the gun on the counter and strokes the Bakelite grip with a strange affection.
Pistols are good. Not for everyone. One needs a special skill set.
The black draws the slide with a snap, pops out the magazine with an almost imperceptible movement, and slams it back in place.
It's reliable. Has a nice heft, too, so even if it jams, you can always smack 'em on the head with it.
Tkachenko slides the pistol across the counter.
Accept it with the barrel aimed downward like you were trained.
Margarita drags on her pipe and releases a puff of thick, yellow smoke.
I see you know the rules and won't cause problems.
Ask about its drawbacks.
Tkachenko tamps down her tobacco.
Nice accuracy, but the stopping power is too low to call it a killing machine. Still, it's an all-around excellent weapon.
The black points at a poster on the wall behind her.
Can you see what's written there? Clean and oil. I have nothing to add.
Thank her and leave.
Shrugs, puffing indifferently on her pipe.
It's the least I could do. We have a requisition list from the Silvers. For free, you receive only rubbish. If you want the real deal, check out the weaponry shop. Or me.
Leaning over the counter, the black points somewhere off to one side.
Now it's time for your training. Fatherby is already waiting for you by the big gate. He's a bit dotty, but a good man nonetheless. But before the training zone, go see that wizard guy with his toothpicks. Be careful around him, though. Don't let him pitch you a line. Psychic my ass.
She winces in disgust.
Let's go ahead and search the
Silvers about that idiot. They'll take the appropriate measures.
Yes, I'm grabbing the mop. You'll understand why in a minute.
Well, you've got quite an aura. You're a natural. Yes.
A lean Silver with thick black hair and a huge cigar clamped in his teeth is sitting in front of you. As you approach, he flashes a sly grin and slowly raises an outstretched hand above the table. Something really weird happens. All the paper clips, pencils, scattered toothpicks, and bits of trash float up from the table and hang in the air. The silver badge reading Andre Mihai, Science Instructor, floats up as well.
Show that you have skills as well.
You thrust your hand forward, and your outspread fingers emit barely visible sparks of energy. Pencils, paper clips, toothpicks, and pistachio shells dance chaotically in the air. The silver sticks out his lower lip as if to say, not bad, and gives you a thumbs up. The objects clatter back onto the table.
Here for the briefing, huh? Shall we get to it?
He takes the cigar out of his mouth and exhales a lush cloud of smoke.
I'm ready for the psionics
Silver
briefing.
props his elbows on the table.
Anyway, here's the deal. It's more profitable for people with a high psyche to study psionics. Give me your hand.
Not waiting for an answer, he grabs your hand with strong, dark fingers.
Hey, personal space, dude.
Andre gropes your hand with an expression of fierce concentration.
So, do you practice? Bells, bulbs, brushing mugs off the table, huh?
The silver takes a thin glove covered in talc from his desk and passes it to you.
Look, a glove, right? But it isn't just a glove. This is an ooh mama hold me tight glove. It takes energy from your noggin, your psyche, and pew concentrates it.
Is that the official name of it? The Ooh Mama Hold Me Tight glove?
Bounce off on his fingers.
Learn psionics. Put on the glove. Transform energy into the necessary shape. That's the whole briefing. Simple? Simple. Now to your questions, huh?
I could ask him about psionics and its origins, but let's see what he has. Well, the best one is that Sedna cryokinetic side glove. But you notice you've got psychokinetic gloves, cryokinetic gloves, pyrokinetic gloves, electrokinetic gloves, and then the one he gave me is a psychokinetic glove. Oh well. And we'll go on ahead and equip our weapons. And we'll real briefly go back in here, if this guy is still here. You notice that once people are beyond a certain radius, they disappear. That's just the game. You're out of their perception range.
Sidney adjusts his glasses. Sidney scribbles something in his logbook.
Please come back anytime if you need something.
Okay, we are going to sell that stack of documents, sell the hair blank soap, sell the clothes, sell the piece of cloth. Oh wait, I've already got all of his money. Sell the broom that we don't really need.
An engineer in a bright blue jacket is tinkering with the door lock, cursing under his breath non-stop. Blowing a curly strand of hair off his forehead, he turns to you.
You're a newcomer, right? It's a straight-up open house here today.
He offers you his hand. According to his badge, this is Maxim Penkovsky, technician. The technician slaps the door with one hand.
You have to wait until I'm done. Some orange jammed up the lock with chewing gum just for a laugh. They're like animals, those oranges, marking their territory. If you ask me, they're too gracious about those bastards in Crystal Sands.
Ask him whether he can open the door.
Penkovsky grunts angrily.
I wish I could. I'm gonna have to disassemble, clean, and reassemble it to get it working. It's work I don't need, and all thanks to some idiot.
Maxime extracts a thin, sharp, precision probe from behind his ear and dangles it in front of you.
Though there's another way. You want to learn something about picking locks? It's a useful skill in all sorts of situations.
He looks at you expectantly.
Well, I've already picked one lock. What's another one?
Excited.
All right, looky here.
Penkovsky presses his pick lock, and an odd device resembling a hybrid of a screwdriver and a can opener into your hand.
Using a mechanical pick lock is easy peasy. No special skill required. They wear out after a few locks. While the old-fashioned kind is another thing entirely. Cheap, one use. But one has to know how to use it right. That's a tool for a master.
Maxime takes out another pick lock and crouches by the door. He gives you a quick lesson on how to pick a lock.
By the way, you can carry your tools in your belt. It's much handier to have them right there.
Penkovsky shows you his utility belt, where he keeps all kinds of tools and gadgets.
Actually, finding tools under the dome is no problem at all. There are even devices for hacking terminals and so on.
Maxime hoists up his belt. The blue solemnly raises his index finger.
And one more thing. Always use brand name stuff if you can. Groovy produces good kits. Modus and Supercolor do too. They've all got fat contracts with CRONUS, so they care about quality.
He looks at the door again.
Damn these locks. Though I'd rather be doing this than fixing hab pods. Those are a real pain in the ass.
Ask about the hab pods.
He gives you a patronizing look.
Because they're poorly made. Warped from the heat, and the filters aren't worth a damn. The modules were constructed by marketing managers, not engineers. Building a city in the desert was also their idea. This project is all about PR. CRONUS wants to show the world how tough they are.
Barter with him. Oh, dude has like 13 lockpicks and 4 electric lockpicks. Well, screw that. Yeah, I will take, and in fact I'm going to cheat real briefly again. I will take every single one of those. And your money too. There we go. That should give me enough lockpicks for a while. Now then.
I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility belt. And then, apply it to the door. You're doing great. Alright, off you go.
Welcome Under the Dome, an
lock
amazing
because of that
excursion to a
pouring.
world of new technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization. Listen to this information, useful for all wings.
I'm going to go ahead and scan the turret with my scanner. +2 CRONUS technology, and it updated my codex. I'll talk to her.
Salutations.
The young woman's polished badge reads Letizia Rivares. She's carrying a stack of glossy leaflets under her arm, and you see another stack of leaflets on a nearby armchair. She pounces on you. Welcome to the Dome, colleague. I have useful information for every employee from our wing. The Silver smiles broadly. My name is Letizia Rivares. Give me 5 minutes of your precious time, and I'll tell you about the remarkable career opportunities and breathtaking perspectives awaiting you under the Dome. Don't turn me down. This is important. Let's see if she has any... No, she doesn't. Agree to listen. Calmly refuse, saying you're not interested. Conviction 30. Say that your time is precious indeed and you're not going to waste it on such rubbish. Or snap at her. You're fed up to the neck with CRONUS advertising. See, that was a bad choice. Welcome to the Dome, the dream of humanity come to life.
It was nice chatting.
Yeah, I kind of hurt my reputation with the Silver Wing there. I got 15 for being a member, 5 for registering Monty James, -5 because essentially I gave her the brush off.
You see a tall scientist in a white lab coat, bathed in the dim lamplight. He almost appears to be hovering above the laboratory floor. The man turns at your footsteps. He's holding a paper clipboard and a pencil. His shimmering silver badge reads Sebastian Van Orden. He glances from you to the glittering watch on his wrist.
I want us to respect one another's time. Please speak loudly, clearly, and to the point. You must be the newcomer I was told about. Nice to meet you.
Finished with his unusual greeting, he offers you his thin hand.
Greet him and say you're here for the briefing.
The scientist puts the clipboard aside, raises his watch for a closer look, and sets the time. He shows you his watch dial.
According to the rules of this briefing, I have to touch on a large number of topics. Therefore, I will do so very briefly. Do not interrupt me. When I'm finished, I'll answer your questions. Within regulations, of course.
Sebastian produces his handheld and clicks some buttons.
I checked your scanner. It's working and is connected to the Minerva database. Everything you scan will earn you CRONUS or Forefathers knowledge points.
The instructor watches you with displeasure.
Are you listening? Scan everything that might be of scientific interest. First of all, anomalies. They could be dangerous. Make sure to always have medication with you.
He places a canvas pouch in your hand.
This pouch is full of bolts. You can temporarily discharge an anomaly by throwing a bolt into it. It's primitive, but reliable.
I remember that from Stalker, which is in my list of stuff that I have on
Van
disc.
Orden pushes a button on his stopwatch.
So, my oral briefing fell within the allotted span of time. Any questions you want to ask me?
Ask for a list of useful
You'll need
medications.
some one-use stimulator injectors, bandages to stop bleeding, and anti-radiation agents and radio protectors, including ARAD-3.
The whitey produces a black-capped, transparent plastic jar out of his pocket.
According to protocol, you should have this medicine. I'll give it to you as soon as we proceed to the practical part of the briefing. Are you ready, by the way, or do you have any questions?
Ask what these knowledge points are and what the difference is.
The white scowls in annoyance.
Do you know anything at all? What did you come under the dome for anyway? You get knowledge points for scanning objects. For scanning anomalies and relics, you receive forefather points. Scanning the company's property and employees living or dead earns you CRONUS knowledge points.
He explains with a sagacious expression.
You can exchange knowledge points for medication and equipment as part of the volunteer research program. Are you ready for the next part? The clock is ticking.
The instructor taps his watch meaningfully.
I have no more
Scientist
questions.
Glances at his watch again.
You're within the time limit for questions. The next step is training in the artificial eco-zone.
He rests one finger on the button in preparation to start the timer.
You're going to go downstairs and scan relics. I will be monitoring your progress. Please note there are several radioactive anomalies in the eco-zone. These are the same conditions you'll be working in the field. Radioactive zones and relics are quite common under the dome.
He smoothly extracts a jar of yellow pills from his pocket.
Here's your ARAD-3. And one more thing. Just a moment.
Handful of earth. A lump of greasy soil. Sooner or later, it accumulates in the pockets of anyone who likes digging in flower pots. Yeah, I'll pass.
Amazing excursions. New world technology.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dome.
The stubby black face brightens upon your arrival. Norman Potter is written on his badge. There's a plastic peace sign next to the badge, in violation of regulations.
Hello there.
Did you know that 2 out of 7 CRONUS employees die violently? We House of Kindness activists want to change that. He gives you his hand. He's sporting a couple of friendship bracelets. Alas, I don't have any more leaflets, but don't worry. I'll tell you about non-lethal weapons and how to defeat an opponent without killing him. Say you want to know more about non-lethal weapons. Very good. This will change your life, he smiles. When you arrive under the dome, you are issued weapons, but they never explain that almost any kind of weapon can use non-lethal ammunition or attack methods. Non-lethal ammunition causes severe fatigue. After several attacks, the enemy may be knocked unconscious, he explains passionately. Non-lethal weapons include tasers, pepper spray, and tranquilizer darts can also be acquired under the dome. And there are martial arts techniques that only take the enemy out of action without killing. Remember the main thing. If you want to win without killing, you have to exhaust your opponent. Ask what House of Kindness is. Our commune, we practice meditation, walk on coals, don't eat meat, and are trying to give up plastic, Norman explains proudly. Wonder why a hippie is serving in Blackwing. It's my mission. I chose Blackwing to prove by example that military service without violence is possible, he proclaims theatrically, his hand on his peace sign. Well, does he have anything for trade? Nope, just a piece of cloth.
It was nice chatting.
Well, here's the nice thing. I can come in here. Nothing in the locker. But I can scan the relic cases and gain a lot of experience Well, 52 each. Can't open any of the relic cases, but at least scanning them, you know, that's 312 experience points total. And I just got a level, in fact. Then use the inventory control list, fill in the notebook, add the relics to the table. A short, skinny technician is working among the warehouse shelves. With his eyes glued to the stacks and stacks of cases, he's frantically writing something in his notebook. His badge says Marek Denkovsky on it.
What? Again?
You clap him on the shoulder, but he just hisses in your direction without looking. Abbott, please, it's not funny anymore. Ask if he needs help. Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. I mistook you for my idiot co-worker. Help, you say? I'm up for it. Know how to use a scanner and take inventory? Splendid. There's 6 relics inside the cases on that table. Scan them and write the data into the notebook. It's on the same table. Already done it. Really? Let me see what you wrote. Last time Abbott drew a penis in the margins. We both lost prizes for that. Nod confidently. Marek scrutinizes the notebook entries for a few seconds. What language is this? Romanian? Oh, I see. The lab assistant turns the notebook right side up and studies what you've written. Denkovsky concentrates on the records, making occasional notes with his pen. Yes, it's all correct. I'm not accustomed to people who actually do what they're told. Thanks for your help. He shakes your hand. You step aside. Denkovsky looks back at you and waves affably.
Hope to see you again soon.
And then, of course, these are coffins. So Samir Rocher,
You only did it once. No, which is right. I ain't gonna hurt you.
Frederick Clay,
None of our mothers.
Tamara Polishchuk,
I'm all right.
an impassive man, his long gray hair in a bun, smokes a cigarette, dropping ash on his boots from time to time. The headphones hanging on his neck produce some metal music. Well, congratulations, you lose man points just for having your hair in a bun.
Salutations.
The Dell badge on his chest reads Nelson Cunningham, Burial Manager. Nelson takes a cigarette out of his mouth. Hi, feeling good, huh? It's a professional interest, huh? Wonder what the boxes are for. What a thing to say. These are coffins. Nelson reacts as if you'd insulted him deeply. These are the best coffins I ever seen. Here, a window to look at the dead. Want to open or close it? Can do. Here's a latch to stop the lid from falling. All right, technology. Cunningham swings open the coffin lid. Fortunately, this one is empty. Soft, comfortable, it's soundproof. Can sleep in it all white. Want to try? No. Actually, here's the thing. If you lie down in that coffin, I found out the hard way. That's a game over. Just don't open them. There's windows. Slide them open and look, all right? The first corpse. Upon a velvet pillow rests a hand wrapped in shreds of black uniform. This must be all that remained from some soldier. Second coffin is occupied by a beautiful, coiffed, middle-aged woman wearing a silver wing uniform. And the third corpse is a pale-skinned orange with a purple face. His neck has rope burns.
Have a good one.
You'll be lying by a swimming pool, sipping a margarita right on this spot. Sounds like a sci-fi story. But we aren't strangers to sci-fi here. The detailed plans are ready. Please stand by for decontamination to end.
An amazing expression. New world technology.
Unidentified relic. Well, I'll take that unidentified relic. Relic dust. Yeah, okay. It's no secret that the Dome regularly surprises its researchers. We at CRONUS prefer to deal with problems rationally. All surprises must be recorded and studied, and the results copied into the appropriate regulatory documents. Our employees' lives depend on it. One of the most common hazards under the Dome is anomalies. Their origin and mechanism of action are still being studied by the committee's best minds, but one thing is certain: you must always be on guard in their vicinity. First, do not approach any type of anomaly without protective equipment. Ionizing radiation is the most frequent danger posed by these phenomena. In addition, electric shock, an alternating gravitational field, airborne toxins, and spontaneous combustion can occur. Remember, CRONUS insurance only partially covers medical expenses. In case of damage to your health, purchase medication from certified vendors. If you must traverse an anomaly's area of effect, the committee scouts recommend using standard bolts. Anomalies tend to respond to the movement of physical bodies of almost any size. Throwing a bolt from a safe distance will trip the anomaly, after which the reboot phase begins. Until this phase is complete, the volume around the anomaly is relatively safe. Note, Blue Wing urges you not to remove bolts from working equipment, and not to purchase them from Orange Wing employees. If needed, contact the warehouse for supplies.
So far, go ahead. I'll keep an eye on you and make sure you don't screw it up. Journal entry, 2 objects scanned. And again, watch out for anomalies.
And I could dig, but if I do that, I'm going to build up so much radiation that I'll have stage 1 radiation poisoning, so I'm not going to do that. But there is a military-grade medkit here, which I'm going to do, which has pretty much... Okay. See, if I had known that was there, I would have gone on ahead and done it. Let's go ahead and dig up this... More relic dust. Meh. Nothing useful.
Sebastian meets you on the platform.
Your finishing time is within the acceptable range.
He clicks the stopwatch button, fixing the result time.
Wait and see what he says next.
The scientist turns back to his notes.
Not bad. One question. You observed several anomalies while scanning. Why do you think they appeared? I'd like to hear your opinion.
And there's different answers for different wings. I could retort that you don't give a fig about the reasons. White Wing is putting a high-value asset, a manager, in danger. But I'm just going to say I don't know.
The scientist assumes a superior expression.
I knew you'd come up with something like that. I see you understand nothing about the nature of anomalies. So let me add a couple of points.
He glances at the shimmering blue light in the eco-zone.
The truth is, we don't know the precise reason for these phenomenon either. We actually know nothing, no matter how much we try to convince ourselves otherwise.
Sebastian points a thin finger at the clustered lightning.
I personally believe that the anomalies are the Dome's security mechanism. The ones you saw are relatively harmless, but there are different anomalies in the desert, phenomenon that toy with the human mind.
Van Olden clasps his hands behind his back.
I know you don't care, but I'll say it anyway. Scientists today are required to be wonder workers who can heal cancer with a wave of their hand and solve the secrets of the universe during their coffee break. For some reason, no one wants to understand that fundamental science is always an investment in the future. It produces no answers here and now.
The White's gaze strays back to his clipboard.
If something terrible happens under the Dome one day, and I'm sure it will, science will protect no one. That is all. Off you go.
Please stand by for decontamination to end. See you next time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is...
Well,
Nod and hide your weapon. Well, now we can talk. Winston Botherby nods, reassured.
A middle-aged black is sitting behind the counter with his hands in his lap. The buttons and zippers on his uniform are polished to a shine, and even his badge, Winston Botherby, instructor, has been buffed so much it hurts to look at it. Botherby frowns as you approach.
Your first act is being late for the briefing. You going to be late for your funeral as well?
Snap to attention and report that you're here for your assignment and want to receive instruction.
Looks you over.
Yes, I see the weapon received check mark. Looks like you are fully prepared to disappoint me. You are prepared, right, employee?
I'm prepared.
Botherby leans over the counter and directs you to the doors.
Behind this door is a combat simulation computer. Launch it and begin your course.
He raises his index finger.
The conditions in the training zone closely simulate those one would experience in the field. Your goal is to avoid getting lost and dying of dehydration. And try to aim the barrel away from yourself when shooting.
Pulling a notepad from his pocket, the instructor jots down your name.
Your goal is to hit 3 targets. I'm going to monitor you and advise as necessary. And try not to burst into tears. That's all. Go ahead.
Welcome to the Sherman Holographic Combat Emulation System. Please select a program. Enter Alpha to initiate the Alpha Squad hologram. Sherman System. Alpha Squad enters the battle. Proceed to the training zone. Not enough action points, huh? Fine.
What do you need?
Botherby nods grandly.
You made it through training without making a total fool of yourself. Congratulations. I'll send a report up the chain about your completely unanticipated success. You're dismissed, employee.
And that actually completes that first well... Hold on. Nix wants in. Be right back. Nix needs to meow louder when I have my headphones on. Okay, so next up is headed to the waiting area, but you notice I've got 2,000 XP out of 3,000. It works almost using the D&D 3rd edition system. It takes 1,000 experience points to get to level 2, 2,000 experience points to get to level 3, 3,000 experience to get to level 4, and so on. And I can go ahead and, let's see, where's that artifact that I had? Here? Yeah. This object looks like a roughly broken off piece of a larger vessel. The moving particles are no longer visible, but the faint sense of lost time persists. If I use it, put it in one of my slots, I get a I theoretically get a +3 to evasion, but my evasion is at -30 as it stands, so it's not going to really give me any bonus. And it uses up 1 AP per turn, so I'm actually not going to use that artifact. Letitia sobs and noisily blows her nose on a crumpled up leaflet. I feel bad for making her feel that way. I could make it worse by saying that her makeup makes her look like a raccoon, but I'm not going to.
Ed, spit it out. I can see that something's bothering you.
Well,
Attention.
God. Come on already.
I'm listening.
The employee bearing a badge reading Darren Niles Security bolts upright as you approach. Forgive my curiosity, but what is your clearance level, please? I see you're new here. I'll explain. Silverwing has its own internal hierarchy. The principal officers have unlimited access to any zone, even the most classified objects. Ironically, most of them are located in Crystal Sands or the Spire.
Bye-bye. Employee, please come here. There's an urgent task. Well, hello there.
A tall blond man in his 40s mechanically touches the brim of his black cap, then extends his hand for a shake. His fingers are rock hard. He withdraws his hand as soon as you touch it. The badge on his chest reads Adolf Schmitz, head of security. Schmitz is studying you back, disapprovingly it seems. He wipes a bit of lint off your shoulder and adjusts the collar of your jumpsuit. Your uniform could use a wash. Badly. I'm Adolf Schmitz, head of the security service. You were to be sent to Magellan, but there was a change of circumstances. He nods towards the door behind him. I've got an urgent order for you. Your help is needed at a nearby object. Mr. Kingsley is waiting right now to give you your assignment. He'll tell you everything himself. Adolf steps aside. Glancing down at your boots, he shakes his head morosely. Ask why he needs you, but not the other Silver that arrived with you. Another Silver, you say? That's strange. There weren't any other Silverwing personnel on the new arrival manifest. Must be a documentation problem. Let's see. Cops with guns, weapon parts, and coffee. Agree and proceed to the guard room. Schmidt steps aside, inviting you to enter. Come in, please. The video phone is on the wall over there. Talk to Yuki real quick.
Howdy.
A young woman with a very creative dye job brings her spontaneous good cheer down on you like a sledgehammer. Say hi. I'm Yuki. I'm the most awesome techie here. I'm also fast and strong. Watch this. She smacks the table with some kind of tool, leaving a significant dent. Act impressed. She smiles widely, twirling a lock of hair around her finger. Then she addresses you in a conspiratorial whisper. You know why they transferred me closer to the administration and science lab, even though I'm a blue and supposed to work on the mechanical floor? Suggest it's because she's so smart. Hey, that's exactly right. But they don't let me do anything. Walk away. Police got someone. That was them that just roared past. Oh, you know what? I can search the trash bins too. Hey, 5 combons in the trash bin? Hell yes, I'll take it. Empty beer bottle. I might be able to sell it for something. Metal locker. Oh, that's downstairs. Okay. Check the janitor's gear. More soap. More cloth. gained 52 exploration experience. And that does remind me, I am 2nd level, which means I've got, how many skill points? 18 skill points to spend. Now you notice the margins here are 30, 60, 90, and so forth, but some skills like I have medicine 42, but if I want detox, I have to have survival 25, hemostasis survival 25, radionuclides elimination science 25. So, looks like I'm going to end up spending most of this on that. Increasing science up to 25. So at least I have... Well, wait. There. Survival 30, that's probably as high as I'm going to get it. Because it does at least allow recon and cookery. And eventually stripping and dismantling. So, on top of unlocking these two, detox and hemostasis. And you get to pick a perk every 2 levels. Yes, save the changes. Well, one perk that you qualify for. Obviously, the red ones you don't qualify, like Turtle. Your deafness has to be less than 2. Well, he's got deafness 6, he doesn't qualify. Off chance, fortune less than 2. I have a 6. The voice. 70% chance to skip a round due to the terror that strikes you, reduced by resilience. So, if your psyche is too low, you can get the voice. I don't have a psyche that's that low. But, you know, I'll go into more detail on those once I earn another one. Or once I earn a perk point. Which will be, at this point, in about 700 XP.
The giant display glows welcomingly when you approach. A red light comes on under the screen's steel hood. The camera is switched on. A gray old man with high cheekbones appears and squints out at you from the screen.
Do you copy?
He leans close to the camera, his glasses glittering.
My name is Martin Kingsley. I'm Chief Officer of Magellan Base. We were supposed to meet in person, but unforeseen circumstances prevented that. One moment. I'll grab your file.
He reaches for something out of view and produces a thin folder with your name on the cover. Apparently, your file. Kingsley opens the folder to thumb through the pages. He marks one of the pages with a pencil.
Silverwing. Colleague, I'll be honest with you. It's crucial for me to know my managers. So I'm asking you straight. Why did you choose a career in our division?
Confess that you enjoy having power over other people. Answer you're interested in auspicious projects and challenging tasks. Explain it's all a matter of ambition, your wish to make a lot of money and live a prosperous life.
The administrator jots down a word or two.
All right. I put that down.
He sounds as formal as you. Kingsley closes the file and folds his hands in front of him.
Thank you for your reply. I learned a little more about you. Now I want you to learn a little bit more about us. Keep in mind, this is not a rehearsed speech.
He assumes a serious expression.
When the dome was discovered in 1971, it became a scientific and media sensation, a worldwide phenomenon, and likely the most significant discovery in the history of mankind.
Kingsley drums his fingers on the unseen desk, his gaze focused somewhere beyond.
I see. You were enticed here by radio advertising, telefilms, and all those interviews, billboards at every turn. CRONUS wants the world to see the Dome as a stage where something merry and fascinating is going on. But now that you're actually here, I want you to see the real picture.
You can't make out his eyes behind the glare on his spectacles, but he seems to be staring directly at you.
Here's the truth. Nobody was waiting for us inside the Dome. It's neither a treasury of technologies nor a cemetery of the ancients. Perhaps what we're doing now is defusing the world's most complicated bomb. Will our mission thrive? I believe so. If we work together and everybody does their part.
He looks back at your file.
I say, do what must be done. Because that's what the concept of the 5 wings is all about.
Kingsley points at the camera.
You're from Silverwing. Special requirements are imposed upon you. You must direct others whilst having no real power. You must provide an illusion of might and well-being, and be honest and wise enough to reconcile your actions with your conscience, no matter that one clashes directly with the other.
Putting the folder aside, he sits back and stares at you in silence. It gets so quiet that the ticking of a clock can be heard through the speakers. Kingsley sighs quietly.
You were probably waiting for some boilerplate welcome speech, but I prefer to talk about real-world problems. Glad to meet you.
Say that so are you.
Martin nods slowly.
I apologize once again for this long-distance meeting. Now, as we don't have much time, I'd like to get to the point. I'm sure you're curious why you were taking off the bus to Magellan and brought here instead.
He moves closer to the camera.
I'm going to show you a short video. Please pay attention.
Kingsley's face freezes on screen.
I have an urgent mission for an employee of your background and qualifications. I'd have assigned someone from Magellan, but I'm short on personnel. That's why it has to be a newcomer. I apologize again for the rush, but it seems I have no choice.
Martin noisily clears his throat.
Maybe you've heard about Nashville Base. While preparing the materials for this mission, I came across a short documentary film about the complex. I think you should watch it.
Watch on.
The speakers produce a hollow click. Purple, gray, and black spots flicker on the screen. A blurred title, The CRONUS Archive 1971 to 1974, was used in the production of this recording, appears at the bottom. The shadow of an airplane flies across a faded yellow desert. A cheery voice fills the room. Every day, our researchers uncover more and more of the dome's secrets. There is no doubt the underground structures, so-called objects, are organized according to some pattern. Though early on, the importance of the relics to scientific research was considered insignificant. The desert dims into the black of a chalkboard. White lines drawn by an invisible hand begin to sketch a schematic of the dome. The narrator continues. By 1972, however, many important discoveries had come to light in a period of only a few months, and the construction of stationary research bases adjacent to the more promising objects began. Personnel moved into Ankara in May of 1972, and within half a year, Boston and Dessau were also brought into service, though the biggest discovery was yet to come. The picture changes to a chasm suffused with electric light, people bustling about everywhere. The speaker's voice seems to come from a distance. In November of 1973, a massive network of underground caves and a structure of hitherto unseen complexity was discovered in Sector C-12. Soon afterwards, the construction of C-12 Nashville began. The camera glides through dim caverns as the silhouettes of bizarre mechanisms emerge. Metal structures loom up from the dark, surrounded by earth-moving machines and exhausted miners wearing orange jumpsuits. The speaker continues. C-12 Nashville is an innovative research complex located atop the primary relic mining location. The complexity of this object is unique. Communications, the film abruptly cuts out, and Kingsley's face reappears.
The rest of this information is classified. Hopefully you get the main idea. Nashville is a very special place, requiring people with both special qualifications and special clearance level, though yours will do for your task.
Ask who else is in your group.
Kingsley lowers his eyes and flips through some documents.
Only the driver. The rest of the group has already departed. I'll tell you everything you need to know, don't worry.
Ask what your task is.
Adjusts his glasses.
So, the task. Nashville base stopped transmitting and receiving signals yesterday evening. A reconnaissance group was sent out earlier today, but we haven't heard anything from them yet either.
The chief officer rubs his forehead.
Normally, I would never give this task to a newcomer like yourself, but I just don't have enough people.
He looks down at the documents again.
Furthermore, the group was lacking someone with your specialization. I thought the mission would be quite straightforward and didn't send any administrative personnel. Now I suspect the Nashville situation may be much more complicated.
Kingsley is looking into the camera once more.
Your task is to get to Nashville, figure out whatever's behind the communication problem, get in touch with the group, and work with them to solve the problem.
The chief officer carefully returns the documents to the folder. You notice his hands tremble slightly.
Go downstairs. The truck must be waiting for you in storage. This task is urgent, but a small delay is acceptable if there's anything you need to settle here first. That is all. Any questions?
No questions.
Kingsley's hand reaches toward the camera.
Great to hear. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you later.
Nothing in that box. That one is locked, but we can fix that. Well, no, maybe we can't fix that. I don't have enough points for that. A green light on the loader dashboard indicates that the vehicle is working and ready for a ride. I don't have car driving or dismantling. So I can't get at that old box behind it. Oh well. Can't use the scanner on either of those either. Weapon parts in a Regent box. Another reagent box. More electrical parts. Nothing in that locker. Nothing in that locker. Nothing in that locker. Apparently no one keeps things in lockers anymore. And those are closed off to me, so I can't get through them. Oh, but there is that dead insect on that trailer. So let's go ahead and scan that while we're here. You notice that this fire post over here is a crafting location. If I have an empty airgun powerlet and 30 gunsmithing, I can build I can fill a canister with carbon dioxide. And the recipes that you see are not the only ones that are available. You'll get more as the game goes on. For example, at the next location, there's a possibility I can learn a recipe for pulled pork. All food in this game has some sort of status associated with it.
Well, hello there.
A tall and beefy silver is puffing on a cigar. He examines you keenly, like he's trying to remember your face. The lettering on his badge says, Ulf Knudsen. The hangar and first floor of Concord are restricted areas requiring special permission. Please leave the area. He raises his hand and points to a sign plate on the wall.
See you again soon.
clothing.
I wonder what he's got available. Nothing I really need. A blue and a faded uniform stands leaning against the dusty orange door of the tow truck. His badge says Todd Gasparian.
How can I help?
Maybe he'll listen to you. You're co-workers after all. Who cares that I've got no papers? Well, my bad. Stuff happens. What am I going to do now? Go back? Just so you know, there's another storm out there. It's no use. Sympathize. You're being sent out on the road, too. Real terror is apparent on Todd's sunburned face. To where? Nashville? In this weather? I tell you, they must have gone completely... Bah, there's no point to this. Their papers are more important than people, see? Take care of yourself on the road. A dome storm is not for nothing. And another thing, while in Nashville, take care, too. There are rumors... And my right is right over here, the Trucks tractor truck. An orange crawler tractor truck is waiting at gate 3. The vehicle's number has been scrubbed off by the desert wind and sand. This must be the transport Kingsley spoke of. The driver's side door is half open. A young woman is sitting sideways in the driver's seat, legs hanging out. Here. She doesn't have that many credits. There. Took most of her money, got him up. Introduce your... Hi, I'm Clara Morgan, and you're the novice going to Nashville, right? What's your name? How do you feel? Do you mind if I smoke in the car? Her handshake is surprisingly firm. Clara smells of soap, some fragrance, and slightly of gasoline. She smiles. Glad to meet you, too. How did you like the load capsule? And the funicular? I've got nuts. You want some? Or candy? Oh, I've got chocolate-covered fruit. Try some. Did you know candied fruit are dried, then boiled in syrup? You climb into the cabin and plunk yourself down on the passenger seat. The truck seems bigger on the inside. A wooden rosary is hanging from the driver's mirror. The radio murmurs quietly. Lean back in the chair. Clara slams her door. Are we going then? Should probably go now. The roads are bad. Very little asphalt. Dirt tracks mostly. God willing, we'll get there before that storm hits. Mind if I turn the radio up a bit? Do you like music? Blues? Gospel? I, for instance, like... You can't make out exactly what Clara likes. The roar of the engine smothers the rest of her sentence, and the truck lurches into motion.
The highway leading to C-12 Nashville is blocked by an anomalous storm, and you're forced to detour over a mountain pass. Soon, the radiator boils over, and you have to stop. Clara lifts up the hood and thoroughly examines the steaming radiator.
The engine's boiling, so we'll have to wait. You do know what happens when a car boils, right? It's...
The Blue shuts her mouth abruptly and stares anxiously at the dark funnel cloud dancing on the horizon. Now that you're on higher ground, it's clear that the storm has overtaken a fairly large section of road. It will be difficult to pass.
Ask her what you should do next.
Blue looks at the engine again.
We wait. As soon as it cools down, we'll go. This storm worries me more, but it's not an insurmountable problem. I heard there are some relics at the local gas station that protect against anomalies. You could even accidentally step on one out here, they say. Mysterious are the ways of the Lord.
Ask her to tell more about the relics.
Her companion perks up a bit. She seems to be interested in the subject.
This place is registered as a resource anomaly zone. Do you know what that is? It's when the relics mined there have been studied and deemed useful. Not much is known about these relics. They dampen anomaly fields, even very strong ones. They're also found in other parts of the dome. They're known as bronze apples or aluminum apples. I don't remember, but something like that.
Ask about anomaly
The
storms.
blue looks at the storm once more.
There have been more and more of these lately, and they're getting stronger. I personally think it's divine judgment for how we've squandered the riches under the dome.
She sighs and squirms.
I knew people who got caught in one of those storms. They blow up so fast, there's no chance to get away. God rest their souls.
The blue makes the sign of the cross.
Find out what's interesting about the gas station.
Morgan thinks for a moment.
It's a combination cafe gas station called Roadside Picnic. Never been there myself, but there's something off about it. There are several anomalies around there and weird relics. Supposedly, machines and structures decay much faster than they should in that area. But maybe that's just a story.
I'll go to the gas station and figure everything out. Now, if I come around behind the gas station, oh, see, high radiation there. But if I come around back behind that, search the trash container here. Oh, it's got a scavenger trap on it. So does that. So does that. Fiend incendiary mine. Yeah, I'm sure the rat suspects something considering I just shot it. Take all those nifty rat parts that I just found. You'll see why in a minute. And there goes that mine. $20 weapon power cells for a tech weapon. And I am going to put these, well, so you can change the slots on your belt by right-clicking and then picking the item that you want there. So, but throwing bolts is actually already included. You don't have to put the bolts there. And there's a large container back here with rad force in it. Let me save real quick. Nope. I'm not going to be getting that without some serious radiation resistance. But this pile of stones here, It says locked, but you don't use a lockpick on a pile of stones, obviously. You need a crowbar, and I don't have one. Once again, we're going to search a broken toilet here. Oh, look, a gun brush. Well, that might come in handy. $3 in the trash can? Sure.
Who the hell goes there? Come on in, since you're already here.
A weird, scruffy old man with a matted beard is sitting in front of the checkout terminal. The badge on his blue jumpsuit is long since bleached away. The name Aaron Melville is written there in black marker. With a groan, he picks up a magnifying glass and, peering through it, begins poking at the keyboard with one knobby finger. The computer plays a short tune. Checkmate, the system declares. The old man angrily sets the magnifying glass aside.
A Grandmaster? You're a piece of junk, not a Grandmaster. And a cheater to boot.
He raises his head to squint in your direction.
Eh? What do you want? I don't advise eating here, and there's nothing to buy. And either way, we're closed.
The shopkeeper rises from his seat, and you notice he's sporting a peg where his left leg should be.
Say your truck broke down.
The man throws up his hands with a scowl.
Then go fix it.
Ask him if he knows how to protect the truck from anomalies.
Bill reluctantly points a crooked finger at the front door.
Go out there and walk over to the gas station. Go down to the basement. There's an anomaly, a tree. It's glowing. And there are some golden thingies hanging off it. We make special devices from that fruit called anomaly protectors. If one be laying around on the floor, go grab it, then put it in the truck and bug off to... Where was it you was going to? That's where you bug off to.
The blue starts slapping the pockets on his overalls.
Personally, I wish I could ask if that's the official name for it. Glowing thingies.
After a little digging, he pulls out a little key on a shoelace.
Only take the device, you hear? It's company property. I should be charging you myself, as a matter of fact.
Take the key and move away. Got the gas station key.
The old man sits at the counter with his head propped in one hand.
No food, no supplies, and the coffee is horse shit. Get out of here. Oh, it's you again.
That's why people are sitting in the cafe when it's supposedly
How
closed.
should I know? They came in and sat down. Ask them yourself.
The old man grumbles.
Ask why he's so unfriendly with
The
visitors.
old man frowns and sniffles loudly.
You want to write a complaint? Go ahead.
He looks at you for a minute. When he realizes you're not going to complain, the surly expression slowly leaves his face. The angry look turns to a sad one. After a brief pause, he speaks again.
Yeah, well, I do have some problems.
The old man lowers his voice, almost to a whisper.
The oranges pick on me. Escapees, by the look of it. They demand food, money, gas. I've got a turret at the entrance, but it doesn't do no shit. I stand in, screwed something up with the circuitry in the basement. Gotta take a look when I get a chance. But with my leg acting up, those rickety stairs just ain't my cup of tea. So here I am, sitting and playing chess waiting for those bastards to come back.
Melville's getting grim again. He adds,
It's my business, and you'd best stay out of it. But if you want to, here's the key. Go down to the basement and see if you can do something with the generator. Maybe you could get the turret to work. That'd make things easier.
Say you wouldn't mind a snack. It is a cafe after all.
Sniffs, annoyed.
Get some noodles from the vending machine there. I've told you we're closed. There aren't any deliveries.
Of course, you can barter with him. And he does have quite a lot of cash. If I'm not going to use that artifact, I might as well sell it. Got that empty beer bottle. You notice he's got canned ham, a weighty can with a pale pink mass inside. Despite the strong odor and the obvious overkill on spices, the ham actually tastes really good. Made to order by Danny Reynolds Supplies. You notice the modifiers it gives. Hunger minus 200. It heals you, I'm not sure for how much. But it gives you the status of fatty food for 150 turns and heartburn for 600 turns. You've got the Nula beef noodles. Minus 100 hunger, plus 50 thirst, fatty food and heartburn. They come in a big cup, but it's just a marketing ploy. Inside you'll find a compressed hockey puck of egg noodles, dry corn, and scarlet powder that adds a juicy beef aroma and makes the meal terribly spicy. Sounds like ramen to me. Canned beans. Hunger minus 125, thirst minus 75, spicy food, and flatulence. Canned beans and sauce. Consume preheated or as is. You've got Sam the Salmon fish snacks. Hunger minus 100, thirst plus 50, very salty food, and flatulence. You've got regular eggs. Hunger minus 50, healthy food, but slightly poisoned for 2 turns. Boiled egg. Hunger minus 50, healing, healthy food for 1200 turns, flatulence for 600 turns. And potatoes. Hunger minus 50, scant food for 150 turns, and heartburn for 600 turns. A large common tuber, may be consumed raw if you're desperate, but it's far better boiled or fried in oil. Let's go ahead and accept that deal. And I'll show you more about the recipes later. He gave you the key so we can go on back. Check his supply barrel. We got 4 eggs, 2 packaged water, 1 canned ham. The packaged water, it's a plastic bag with 1.5 liters of distilled drinking water that you can drink, use for cooking, or pour on your burning pants. Can be stored safely for up to 2 years. Take the papers, because we can sell them. Back to him even. 2 more packaged water in the fridge. Let's see. Search the janitor's gear. Take the broom and the disinfectant. The trash bin is outside.
Be kind, please. Don't touch this. It's mine.
You notice the metal box and the med kit are both that way. And the supply barrel. Until later, anyway.
Strong stuff. I'm so hungry after that.
You can scan that turret. Chimera Mark 1 turret decommissioned. And see, here's another example of a attribute-based check. If you have the muscle of 7, he only has muscle 6, but if he had muscle 7, he could move it and search that metal box in that large container there. But we don't have muscle 7, we can't move that.
The old man sits at the counter with his head propped in one hand.
No food, no supplies, and the coffee is horse shit.
Yeah, we get you.
Oh, it's you again.
I just want to sell him the, I just want to sell his broom back. There you go.
I'm still freaking out.
But this is what I was talking about on the cooking. Now, he has cookery, so he can actually make stuff. For example, he actually has the skill to make fried cockroach eggs. Now, on the one hand, ew. On the other hand, you can eat the cockroach egg. It's hunger minus 25, nasty food for 4,800 turns, nausea for 600 turns. But if you fry it, it becomes scant food instead of nasty food, smelly food, and you still have the nausea, but it's hunger minus 75. Rat roast, if you have salt and an onion. So you turn the rat foot from hunger minus 50, nasty and slightly poisoned, to hunger minus 75 and ungodly salty. You've got the rat eye, hunger minus 25, nasty food and nausea. You can make fried rat eye, which turns it into scant food and nausea. Same with the rat tail. Nasty food and nausea to scant food and nausea. But you need that cookery of excuse me, I have to scratch my ear for a second. You have to get your survival skill up to a 30 to be able to make anything other than heated beans and heated ham. And even that improves things. For instance, your canned ham, hunger minus 200, fatty food, and heartburn. But if you heat it, it's hunger minus 300, and it's hearty food and warm food. After warming, the ham within fulfills its real hammy potential, becoming aromatic and satisfying. Fuel canister. Smelling strongly of gasoline, the inscription on the side claims its property of the Wingman Company and instructs you to return it to the nearest Wingman gas station. Canned ham and another thing of water. Check that supply barrel. 2 onions. An empty beer bottle and some dirt. Some ammunition, including 20 handgun cartridges and 12 shotgun shells. Yes, I want to take that. Search these boxes. Oh, I already did. Cardboard box. Paperwork. More water. 3 med kits. spare parts, electrical equipment, and 2 springs. Take all of that. I can't repair the generator unless I get his tech up to 20. So, but we will repair it. I'm going to get his tech up as soon as I gain a level. A mine clearance kit, 5 more bolts, another lockpick, 2 more onions, 3 more of those crayfish candy. Nothing in those boxes. 1 dose of Rad Force, which actually I need to take 1 anyway. A thin pipe behind the vent grid is producing strange sounds. Knock on it. Knock on it. Knock on it. Looks like you've disturbed a rat nest. They suspect something. Okay. Well, we got rid of his rat infestation problem. But we'll have to come back here once we have his tech skill up high enough to repair that generator. There's a toolbox up here on the bulletin board, or sorry. Hey, Techno Woman comic book issue. The brilliant engineer Tanya Parks fights crime with the help of her own inventions. Half of the comic consists of blueprints and a list of tactical and technical characteristics. And some nails. Search the supply barrel. Two bolts and some glue. Coincidentally, you can have up to four quote-unquote belts. Why did you go over there? So, for example, I have some other skills that are here, and I'm going to move some of this around at some point, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and heal, which you get experience for that, too. Then I'm going to go back down in this guy's basement. Come over to the generator. Techno-Woman's numerous enemies are again plotting against her. Electroll, Jackman, Professor Synchrophasotron, and Steel Trunk have joined forces to put an end to the annoying Tanya Parks once and for all. Are they responsible for the huge increase in disappearing pies and beets across America? Will Tanya be able to keep the secret of her identity, defeat all the villains, and save the world? Find out in this mind-blowing issue. Bonus, attaches a blueprint for yet another gadget from Techno-Woman's arsenal. Assemble the device and feel like a hero inventor. Let's go on ahead and consume it. And we've got a temporary... There we go. And we now have enough experience for level 3. So one of the first things we're going to do, well, that's a temporary plus 20. There. Hmm. 10 skill points at this point. There we go. His tech is now 30. Well, his let's see, his tech is 20 now. There we go. Gunsmithing, repair, and throw wrench. Also, we can now add a perk. So, here's my options. I've got Adrenaline, Deafness plus 2, and Close Quarters Damage plus 4 when at less than half health. Sunchild, plus 2 to Fortune from 10 to 1800 energy. Sturdy, plus 3 hit points per level, and that is retroactive. Rising Star, plus 30 influence, and plus 25 to reputation in all wings. Amplifier, plus 5 psionic damage. Renaissance Person, plus 1 to all stats. You know, I have a feeling that might be the one I go with. While hurrying to your own disco concert, you can simultaneously zip through a minefield on a unicycle, solve logarithmic equations, choke a giant cockroach, dodge bullets, and hypnotize another cockroach, all after a hearty dinner of some not-so-fresh canned food. That'll also increase all my skills by 1. Or 2. Psychonaut, Psyche plus 2 under the influence of psychoactive substances. Healing Factor, restore 10 hit points per round while below 50% health, works in combat only. Observant, plus 3 skill points per level. The earlier you get that, the more benefit it's going to be. Creature of the Night, precision plus 20 at night. Sure Grip, precise shot works without a cooldown. Loner, plus 75 learnability, but minus 2 to party size. You're not allowed to have any companions. High-Tech Enthusiast, plus 30 to high-tech weapons. A Leg Up, instantly go up another level. Heavy Sleeper, all resistance is increased by 10% for 1 day after sleeping in any bed. Roaring Good Health, a one-off plus 50 hit points. Expropriator, pickpocketing threshold plus 2,000. Any excessive property must be redistributed for the greater good of society, represented by you. Deft Hands adds plus 15 to tech and criminal. Badass, 15 to fortitude and resilience. Chef, plus 50 experience for cooking a dish. You learn something new every time you finally cook some damn food. Hypochondriac, precision plus 20 while at full health. Pitcher, reduces the cost of grenade throws by 1 action point. Brace for impact, damage from critical hits, minus 50%. I don't qualify for Optimizer yet, but that's skill-based. Science and Tech 40, and I get plus 25 to Encumbrance and plus 40 to Contraptions. Backstabber, Teleload, which I can't get until level 6. Basically, everything below these 2 check marks is something I don't qualify for yet. But I think the one I'm going to go for now, is Renaissance Person. Which you notice if I check stats, now I have a 7 in everything. Which means I can go back outside and go upstairs and move that girder. A pipe wrench and another wrench. A crowbar and a couple of nails.
Can you see this jellyfish? Yes. It has tentacles like phalluses. That is so weird.
I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
The old man sits at the counter with his head propped in one hand. No food.
Say you repaired the turret.
The old man squints and gives you a silly smile.
Huh. So it's like that. Well, thank you. Thank you. I didn't think you'd be any good.
Let's see, do I have anything to repair that thing with? I don't think I do. No, I don't have anything to... See, the turret is only at 32 out of 59 hit points. I thought I might have something that I could use to repair that a little bit, but we'll see. Might find something in all of this stuff. Five fuel for flamethrowers, and another jerry can. Nothing there. What about the boxes? I said, what about the boxes? Thank you. Another pair of scissors. Another crowbar so I can get into both of those piles. Stack of documents. More stacks of documents. Whoops. Another shovel. Hey, it's something I can sell at least. An empty tin can. Again, something I can sell. Let's talk to Travis.
Hi there.
See what he has to trade. He actually has a surprising amount available for trade. Like homemade grenades. So that's what the empty tin cans are good for. See, just about almost everything in this game is good for something. Like that empty tin can that I picked up. Well, I don't have one now, but I sold it to there we go. The tin can, Empty dirty can might still be useful for crafting. Yeah, for making homemade grenades if I have the appropriate skill. Well, he can have that shovel back, but does he have anything I want in trade? 2 sleep grenades, 2 chemical grenades, 2 stun grenades, 2 shot grenades, 1 cryo grenade, Molotov cocktails, and again, that's what the empty beer bottles is for. 3 immobilizing grenades, frag grenade, a salute taser, jalapeno pepper spray. So he has a lot of stuff that I can trade with him, but nothing I really want. The blue moistens the cotton pad with alcohol and runs it over the stone. Then he squeezes the essence into a metal jar, which emits a golden light. The cotton pad freezes mid-wipe. The blue looks up. You read his badge, Travis Brightman, Explosive Ordnance Disposal. Are you going inside the gas station? I wouldn't recommend it. And there's a bunch of questions I can ask him, but... Let's come around here. Oh. Climb the damn ladder, please. Oh, good job. Didn't do it soon enough. Search the container. Princess. Tactical rifle. Well, I'm no good with big guns, but I know what I can do with it. Yeah. Supply barrel. More candy and a potato. Six onions and 6 potatoes. Ten more fuel. Another pipe wrench. More of that candy. More fuel. And another jerry can. Wow. That's all I'm going to say. Wow. 6 more potatoes. And 2 more water. And I can tell you from having played through this part of the game earlier. Oh, really? Well, there's the back door key. Or, in other words, the key to the door I just picked. Yay. More rad force, more med kits. Nothing in that supply barrel. Pergeron, more med kits. A shovel. Nothing in the big box. Metal box. Plastics. Nothing in the ammunition box. That's locked. Can I get in? Not yet. Now here's something. This one, it's called Your Personal Box. And, well, there's going to be at least one of these in most major areas. And yes, they are magically linked to each other somehow. So, all the stuff you want to keep, like the scissors, which are useful for crafting, food items, potatoes, let's see. Go ahead and put Princess in here. Okay, let's see. For now, the gun cleaning brush can go in there too, and that fuel. Because what's important is these. Let's see. What else? Well, I can throw a wrench now, but the problem is damage 0 to 1. Yeah. We'll keep one of the pipe wrenches just in case. I don't think he's ever going to go into melee weapons, this guy, but never hurts to have them available. Okay. So, all of that stuff will be in any personal box that I find later in the game, because they're all linked.
The old man sits at the counter with his head propped in one hand.
No food, no supplies, and the coffee is horse shit. Get out of here. Oh, it's you again.
Not sure what the Regent box is good for, so I'm just going to sell it and the cigarettes. And the stack of documents.
You already know the answer.
Since I actually have the crowbars to do it with, well, I found a backpack in that one. 5 shotgun shells and 10 handgun rounds in that one. I can live with that. Even though they've got traps and I don't have any trap removal, yeah. Go ahead and search these. Of course, I'm also going to have to heal myself after that.
Oh, Rabbi, you already know the answer.
Oh, wait. Oh, let's see. Drop off the bottle. Drop off the 2 cans. Drop off the shotgun shells. Don't know if I'll need the disinfectant, so I'll drop it off. If nothing else, it can be used to kill bacteria. So, with that in mind, I still wish I'd found something to repair that, but, well, I don't know. Wait a second. Oh, okay. No, don't go running up onto the roof, you dumbass.
The old man sits at the counter with his head propped in one hand.
No food, no supplies, and the coffee is horse shit. Get out of here. Oh, it's you again.
Oh, good day.
As you approach the table, you catch the end of a strange dialogue. A gray, long-haired man in a silver jacket is making weird gestures as he confidently explains something to the young girl sitting next to him. The only logical and undoubtedly correct answer is this: the dome vibrates out of sync with the universe, hence all the anomalies. Seeing you, he raises 2 fingers in a peace sign. The man radiates calm and goodwill. Peace be upon you. My name is Rabindranath Krishna Swami, and this is my sister Swallow. With her act-sized pupils, Sister Swallow's eyes remind you of twin forefather anomalies. She stretches herself out on top of the table as if hoping to melt into it. Hello. Oh, my fingers are warm. Lines, lines, waves. Rabindranath looks from her to you and giggles like a child. I'm sorry, when I feel good I like to share with my neighbor. Ignore it, please. Study them from a medical perspective. Swallow rubs her cheek against the table's surface, absolute peace written all over her face. Rabindranath sways slightly on the couch and weaves an invisible pattern in the air with his fingers. These 2 have taken enough drugs to knock out an entire Black Wing squadron. Having guessed what you're thinking, the silver gives you a tricksy smile. Well, consciousness doesn't widen itself, you have to help it along. It's very good for deep spiritual discussions, you know. Calm them down, it's okay, they can widen their consciousness as much as they want. Well, that's a very wise attitude to take, isn't it, Swallow? The girl nods enthusiastically. Krishnaswamy slaps himself on the forehead. What a crazy pants I am. I forgot that I brought Jutha Jones with me. Have you heard about him? Ooh, I'll read some of my favorite quotes aloud. Join our book club if you wish. Club... He chuckles again. Move away. Coincidentally, if you look at this, you can see what I'm talking about, all the saves. Roadside picnic staging post, cafe basement, staging post, cafe basement, staging post. Every time you transition to another area, it saves again. So I'm going to take out some of these old saves. Put the extra electrical equipment and plastics in there. And put that in there. Not like a letter takes up a lot of encumbrance, but... Oh, and I have that backpack. Well, I'll sell it in a little bit. I don't need the regular backpack since I have the big one. Black powder, pistol bullets, and handgun cartridge casings. Okay, that's cool. I can live with that. Another Techno Woman comic book issue, and some documents and some cloth. Military grade med kit over here. 2 Energon. Stimulator that increases vigor and performance. It's based on Eleutherococcus combined with caffeine and phenylethylamine. Read the directions before use and remember that Maximon cannot be held responsible for accidental death due to overdose. Seriously, Maximon? Energon? Someone's been watching too much Transformers, I think. Someone on the dev team. Let's see. Whoops, no, not that. Bolt throwing. Can't be used in combat, but it is something I can use. Okay, looks like psionics are the best choice against this dude. Let's scan that. Used to be a guy named Damon Loxley. And all he has on him is some cigarettes. Thankfully, I have plenty of med kits. Because I'm going to need a couple of them. And there's an anomaly protector. Scan the tree. Apple tree fractal crystal, whatever that is. We'll look at the... and there's a brass apple relic. Minus 15 precision, but plus 1 action point maximum, plus 1 action points, and plus 1 starting action points. In other words, 1 extra action point every turn. I'll store that artifact for later, once I have more precision. And I'm going to store that mine clearance kit. Generally, I tend to clear mines by shooting them. And on top of that... oh, and store that. And the dart gun. It's not a nail gun. And, well, save the cigarettes, and the cloth might be needed. Now that I think about it, the cloth might be needed for Molotov cocktails. Stack of documents, I'm not sure what you'd use that for. Put the backpack back in inventory because I intend to sell that. And also, even though I hate to do it after having used so many of these earlier, I need to heal because there's about to be an encounter. Because I stupidly forgot and sold my gas cans. As you exit the shed, you stumble across a scene from a movie. A dented Jupiter moon parked by the roadside shop with 4 strangely dressed tramps idling about. Examine the car. The car is in awful shape despite being brand new. Jupiter's first got chrome-plated fender moldings in February 1976, which means it can't be older than 6 months. The driver's door lock was at some point jacked open with something sharp, a knife or screwdriver. The car is obviously stolen. Examine the intruders. The people standing around the car are so filthy you barely recognize their CRONUS uniforms under the grime. The name tags have been removed, of course, but the ruffians' tattoos make it clear you're facing oranges. Call them. You quietly call out and the bandits turn to you. One of them, must be the leader, takes a step in your direction, eyeing your clothes. Well, 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 who's this in the nice clean uniform? So here's the deal, guest. You and that old codger behind the counter, you're both going to chip in for our gas, and maybe I won't stress test your skull today. Well, I don't have a canister of gas because that's what I'm talking about. I sold the damn things. You could tell them you dislike the old man at the gas station and would be happy to waste them yourself. or chip in, or ask for 20 minutes to cinch the deal, or you could just start a combat and shoot them since you've got the turret repaired, which is what I'm going to do. Or Intimidation 40. Crack your knuckles and tell these racketeers what you're going to do to them. No, don't. You're threatening me, I'm threatening you. What's it for? Let's just peacefully go our separate ways. What you staring at? Get your asses inside the car. We've got 2 more stops to go. The engine roars and the car skids away, disappearing in a cloud of dust. 324 XP and a level of experience. And we can go talk to the quote-unquote old codger.
Well, you seem like a better sort.
With his gang problems solved, Melville is visibly more hospitable.
I'm sorry for bitching at you, sweetheart. My mood hasn't been great this last couple of weeks. Would you like some coffee? If I could...
The old man takes off his plastic leg and wraps it on the counter.
Hey, anybody want some coffee? Coffee, come on.
Tell him some strange creature attacked you in the basement and you killed it.
The old man scrubs his bald spot.
That'll be my stand-in, I think. And here I reckoned he'd gone and quit on me. It smelled a stench from the cellar. Thought a rat croaked down there.
Listening to your story, he shakes his head in amazement.
You say it didn't even look like a person? Oh, I had a bad feeling about this place from the start. Not good at all, I'm telling you.
How's life?
The old man sighs in sadness.
What life? I'm an old man. Life? My ass.
Ask how it is
You
here.
can't tell if Aaron is coughing or laughing.
Well, it's seething with life. People come and go. White wingers hanging around the swamp. One such fella came along today, walking around poking things with that scanner of his. Doesn't shake hands with people. What kind of guy is that?
The old man leans close and continues in a confidential tone.
I used to have a gizmo of sorts. It warmed stuff up better than any heater. And when they saw it, their eyes almost bugged out of their heads. They took it away from me. It's dangerous, they said. What else? Well, sometimes bandits show up. Get pounded on the head occasionally. Not as often as I'd like, but there it is.
The old man gives you a smile of satisfaction.
Ask what's wrong with the local cuisine.
Blue grunts like a goose.
Well, I cook for myself here. It's, an acquired taste. Hey, sweetheart, wait a minute. Hold up.
The blue claps you on the arm. He looks a bit confused.
I was thinking, I wanted to thank you. Maybe we could go on a picnic. You like picnics, don't you?
I don't mind sitting down and having a snack.
Smiles. His expression is both silly and sincere.
Look, there's a cliff nearby. Lovely place. I got a cook pot already there. A comfy piece of tarpaulin, too. And the logs are alive. Even got little bottles stashed away.
Melville grunts, reaches under the counter and pulls out a bulky bag smelling of onions. The old man lays out the bag's contents on the counter. Canned pork, onions, eggs, and potatoes. He looks quite proud of his stash.
What's a picnic without snacks? Here, I'm going to teach you my family recipe for pulled pork. First, you have to boil the eggs, and then...
Gesturing excitedly, the old man reveals the secrets of Melville family cuisine.
I'd cook it myself, but I'm sure you can do better. See the stove behind me? There you go. Use it. Go ahead and cook.
The blue rakes the food back into the bag and gives it to you.
And now I can come over here to the kitchen stove. And now I can actually craft quote-unquote pulled pork, which is 1 can of ham, 3 onions, 2 boiled eggs, and 3 potatoes. Craft it, and we get 17 experience.
Aaron stares into his screen and mutters to himself.
Where am I gonna get all them pawns? You filthy dog.
He notices you.
Ah, it's you. Well, come on, speak up. What do you want?
Tell him I made some pulled pork.
Aaron takes a piece of pork and tries it.
Well, what do you know? That came out pretty good.
He lowers his voice.
There's that guy with the rock, the white by the swamp, and those two hippies. Ask them if they want to sit with us, too. If you got anybody else in mind, call them, too. More people, more fun.
Say you'll invite the others to the picnic and move away. Well, you know, everything's better with alcohol. And he happens to have some.
Good day to you.
Ask her if she wants to go on a picnic. Okay. Ask why she's called Swallow. It's her totem animal. She has a tattoo as well. Swallow, show us her tattoo. Swallow nods willingly and lifts her shirt as if it was nothing unusual. Of course she doesn't wear a bra. A crooked tattoo of a bird is perched above her left nipple. How do you like it? Ask if you can take a closer look. You didn't see it properly. Ask if she's afraid of the dome. At least they're not offended by that, because I didn't intend to click on that. Oh no, not at all. The dome is nature, and I have a deep spiritual bond with nature. It won't harm me. If you love the world, it kind of loves you back. Admire her positive worldview. It's cool that you dig it. Ask about her necklace. Nice, isn't it? I made it from some forefather stuff. I bought him from a local guy, the one that likes to sit outside the gas station.
I hope to see you again soon.
Well, considering that the guy that sits outside the gas station is actually an explosive ordnance guy, I'm not entirely convinced that wearing a necklace that he made, or wearing a necklace made from stuff you bought from him, is necessarily a good idea. Just saying.
Come on, don't be shy.
That was awesome. You're just like President Ford, the peacemaker, if you get the analogy. Ask his opinion on how you resolve the conflict. You have a way with words, that's for sure. Me? One look at those hard cases and I'd have turned tail. No way I'd talk with them. Ask if there's anything interesting. This place is full of interesting stuff. It's an anomalous zone after all. Machinery doesn't last long in this area, so I walked here. The whites say it's a typical retrograde anomaly, and I even know where the source is. The blue turns to look meaningfully at the gas station. There's a huge second-class fractal relic in the basement, and sometimes small golden balls fall off it. I would take a couple for myself, but, well, there's something weird going on in there. I advise you to stay away. Travis falls apprehensively quiet. Oh yeah, there's a path behind the diner that leads to the swamp. That's where you find the microlux. I've marked the place as worthless, though it's beautiful, of course. Ask why it's worthless. A man working in the swamp told me that wherever you find microlux, you find the Mobios. Well, wherever the Mobios are, you'd better not go. I'm glad the passage to the swamp has been blocked up with rocks. Feel safer. Find out what's going on in the basement. Alright, as long as you leave me out of it. 2 words, something living. There's something alive in there, and it barely resembles a human being. That's enough for me to keep my distance. Ask what he's doing. That's not a rhetorical question, is it? I'm sitting outside a weird gas station with a basement straight out of Weird Tales mining relic dust. Conviction 30. Get him to talk. You suspect relic dust isn't the only way he makes his living. Travis is studying the glowing liquid at the bottom of the jar. Hey, not every expedition ends with a victory party. Sometimes crap goes down and CRONUS seals the site until better times. But the site being sealed doesn't mean anything. You can still get in. It's all off the books, but CRONUS doesn't mind people finding relics. The corporation buys them and everybody profits. Though to tell you the truth, I'm not sure it's worth the money. Sometimes you see things you really wish you hadn't. People stuck in some kind of glass, like flies in amber. Easier to just collect dust. Marvel at it and say it must be insanely interesting. Not really. It's, kind of like living by the sea. Walk along the shore and you can find all kinds of stuff washed up by the waves. Sometimes it's interesting. Mostly it's just junk. Brightman pushes a jar towards you. The gray emulsion inside glows with a golden light. Even the oranges are squeamish about this. It's real hard to get. Although it's good money, labs buy stuff like this all the time. I don't know why, and I don't care. The main thing is they pay for it. CRONUS is exploiting the heritage of mankind. Why can't I make some extra cash on the side, too? Invite him to the picnic. A picnic? Seriously? With a grumpy old fart that can't even fry an egg? Sure, why the hell not?
See ya.
Then there's this guy, Theodore McCready, or Theodore McCready.
Oh, hello there.
His protective suit sparkles with myriads of flickering pinpoints. It's as if the particles are stuck to the purple gloves and white skull mask, glittering like a snowdrift on a sunny day. On his chest is a metal badge that says Theodore McCready. Greet him with a nod. He responds with a slight bow. Ask if he knows anything about the C-12 Nashville site. He taps the chin of his mask as if trying to remember something. With a gesture, particles dart up to form a nimbus around his head, then quickly subside. You said they aren't responding? Nashville. Oh, of course I know. Listen, you're lucky. Nashville's a real treasure trove. It's a huge excavation topped by a 3-level complex. A spectacular place. I'll want to hear what you think when you get back, provided you survive, of course. It was just a joke. Nothing will happen to you, or us, unless it's the end of the world and missiles crash down on us. That's a joke, too. Find out more about the lights. It's a good thing you asked. We began to study this phenomenon at Magellan a couple of years ago, so I've got something to tell about it. We call these particles microlux. They're small gas bubbles in a liquid shell. Non-toxic, slightly lighter than air, considered non-hazardous. The glow they emit is variable in intensity and independent of external sources. McCready raises his palm to his face in a scooping motion. The microlux hovers around it, forming a radiant ball. Behind the mask, the scientist's eyes twinkle with delight. Ask what he's doing here. I'm from Magellan Station. 2 weeks ago, management sent me to conduct a field study of my hypothesis, which is that the microlux is an indicator of the presence of Mobiuses. They either generate microlux or the two are in symbiosis. And now I'm here to confirm or refute this hypothesis. I see the behavior of the microlux particles has changed. Unfortunately, I can't establish if this is due to the presence of a Mobius or something else. Say you want to know more about what he mentioned. That's a topic for another time, but I'll warn you in advance, like most of what we know about the dome, it's just a theory right now. We often consider the dome a passive environment that doesn't react to our intrusions. This is a faulty approach. It would be more correct to say the dome is studying us even as we study it. As we remove relics and integrate them into our lives, or develop new technology from what we've learned, the dome consumes what we brought with us, cars, equipment, sometimes even employees. Keep listening. People who came with the first expeditions will tell you how it all began and how the dome was back then. It's a whole new ecosystem now. Have you heard of the afflicted? They're employees who have been heavily exposed to relic influence. Biologists will tell you there's a special niche in the food chain for these afflicted. Looks like the dome transforms the resources it gains into a useful form. The Mobius is an example of how the dome transforms our equipment. Research drones, cars, diesel generators. These things regularly vanish, but not without a trace. They come back as biomechanical guards. Actually, Mobius stands for Mobile Biomechanical Sentinel. They have their own hierarchy, their own behavioral patterns, their own habitats. They also almost always incorporate an embedded rock formation. It's a mimicry mechanism to blend in with their surroundings, you understand. We've already classified several different types, and when we understand the connection between Mobius and Microlux, we'll know much more. Thanks for listening. Anything else you want to know? Yeah, I want to see what you have to sell. If anything. Power cells, Arad 3, which I could use more of. Of course, he can have the cigarettes if he wants them. And the ordinary backpack. The problem is that's going to cost 140, so I'm either going to have to find something else to give him or just forget about it for now. There we go. That works. Ask if he supports the committee's actions. Is that a trick question? I mean, where were all these critics when an expedition was sent to the Dome and the discoveries were made? Are all CRONUS authorities thieves and bureaucrats? I don't really give a hoot, since they let us do business here. Let the critics hide behind empty words. All they're doing is making noise on TV and writing snarky think pieces for the papers. Ask if he'd like to go on a picnic. Yeah, why not? I'll be there.
Good one.
A path leading to the swamps is buried in rubble. I get the feeling that that's a location that we're either going to come back to later, or maybe it's an area that was that was considered during the development of the game and then cut out later. But I could be wrong. And there's one more person we can invite because we have so much influence. Hello, Clara.
Clara briefly looks up from poking around the engine.
So, how's the situation? Sure you don't want some nuts? Water, maybe. I have some here.
Tell her a weird old man from the gas station invited you on a
You
picnic.
see doubt in Blue's eyes.
I don't know.
Try to convince Morgan.
Clara looks hesitant.
But we're on a mission.
She wipes her hands with a rag draped over the truck fender.
All right, but not for long. We'll do it in half an hour, right?
I'll wait for you there. Melville leads you to the cliff, carrying a battered old hamper with some chipped plates inside. With a cunning smile, Aaron reaches beneath the fallen tree and takes out a dusty bottle of scotch. You stoke the coals of the expiring campfire, and the flames reluctantly blaze up in response. Examine the plates. The plates look awfully old, as does every single man-made thing in this place. There's a very faded geometric pattern on the chipped rims. On the back of one plate, you see the contoured CRONUS logo and the engraved number 1972. Look closely at the bottle. Wood dust lends the bottle a noble look, but a closer look at the faded label puts everything in context. It's cheap hooch called Danny Dawson, the color of which reminds you of furniture polish. Finish lighting the fire and sit down on the fallen tree. You sit down and stretch your legs towards the fire. The sun peeks lazily out from behind the clouds. Even the distant howling of the storm seems to have calmed a bit. Aaron mumbles and jokes to the others while setting out plates around the campfire. Hey, sweetheart, are you just going to be sitting there or what? Get that pork out, I'm starving over here. Serve up the pulled pork. You've got to give it to Melville's family recipe. The pulled pork looks appetizing and smells delicious. Swallow pokes incredulously at a moist chunk of meat. Is this pork? I don't eat this. Meat is pain, suffering, and murder. I'd rather stick with vegetables, preferably a prana diet. Oh, whiskey, can I have some? Rabindranath refuses as well. Only potatoes and onions for me. Yes, thank you. Resting the plate on his knees, he begins passing his hands in the air over his food. Swallow clumsily copies his movements. You're sitting out on a log, gazing out on the hazy desert and scarfing down pork. With half an ear, you listen to what's happening around the campfire. So you say this microlux of yours has trace elements of Mobius's, eh? Inquires Melville. Technically, yes, but these aren't traces. McCready nods his agreement. Oh, crap. The Mobiuses, they crap out this microlux, don't they? The old man is twisting around excitedly, trying to locate the shiny stone. So what, did they take a crap right in my yard? The White chuckles and shakes his head. It's a rather complex concept. It appears to be a symbiotic relationship where the microlux establishes the work environment for these combat mechanisms. It's not toxic nor radioactive, but I advise against touching it with your bare hands. So it's crap all right, Melville sums up thoughtfully. The pork platter is nearly empty. The picnic is coming to an end. Melville limps to the edge of the cliff and spits over the edge. Well, that was a nice little sit-down, all right. Last one back washes the dishes. Hey, don't you all jump up at once. All right, I'll wash them myself. Put your dirty plate aside and leave.
Want some more magic pills, child?
Oh,
Yeah, I do. But if you look at the statuses, I've got upbeat, which is +1 charisma and +3 initiative for the next 15 minutes, tipsy, and apparently I've got another level. Well, before I do anything, that pulled pork, if you look at the stats for it, the pulled pork has -400 hungry, healing, and fatty food for 300 turns. It's probably the friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Ew. Any rate, if he has any more canned ham, I might want to make some of this. So let's see what he's got in stock.
The old man's face is red from drink and ecstatically happy.
See, it was a good sitting, all right. And that friend of yours is fine. If I was a bit younger, trust me, I'd marry her in a second. Yeah, I'd just take her by the elbow and say, "My lady, come with me down the aisle."
Melville hiccups loudly.
Well, let's see what he's got. He's got 2 more cans of ham. And I think I have 1 in my inventory. 4 of those. And I think I have all the potatoes and stuff that I need. Whoop. Drag that paper there. Let's go up here and check my thing because I need 6 potatoes and 6 onions. And if I have more pork, or ham, note this. Okay, I have 2 more ham, which means I'm gonna need all those eggs. Two more onions. Thankfully, I don't need any more potatoes. Also, I'm going to need the black powder because I actually have some empty handgun cartridge casings. So I'm going to stop over. First thing we're going to do is stop over here at the gunsmithing workbench. And I can make 5 handgun cartridges. And that also gets me 5 experience, 1 per cartridge. Let's see, I have 4 cans of ham. Am I not mistaken? Yeah, 4 cans of ham. So I need to talk to him and get 2 more onions.
Stares into his screen and mutters to himself.
Where am I going to get all them pawns? Filthy dog.
He notices you.
Ah, it's you.
Come back here. Oh, I need some water too, huh? Well, I happen to have that too. My one pet peeve is that it doesn't distinguish. If you can't make something because your skill is too low, I think it should be a different color from something that you can't make because you don't have the ingredients. So I'm going to need 4 of these packaged water. And also I'm going to transfer the gunpowder and... yeah, just the gunpowder back into that. Come back into the kitchen stove. Boiled eggs. Craft maximum. Pulled pork. Craft maximum. $81 experience for all of that. But now I've got 4 plates of pulled pork that I can stick back in my thing. And of course I can rearrange my inventory a little bit. For some reason, keys that you don't need anymore just don't show up on the list of things that you can transfer to your case. That's another thing that I really wish that they would have fixed, in the sense that I'm going to be putting that away, so I'm going to stick that over there. And that's going to that woman. Going to be selling that wrench because I can't throw them effectively. Not yet, anyway. Okay. And if I wanted a few more experience points, he's got 5 cans of beans, which I can then cook. Tipsy for the next 5 minutes. -1 to perception and brains, but +1 to muscle and charisma. Okay. So I have... well, it might be better for me to wait on these 19 skill points. That would work too. It might do for me to wait until the tipsy wears off in about 5 minutes, so that I'm looking at the actual... well, I guess it doesn't matter, because it shows me how much it's being affected. For instance, I'm getting a +1 to hand because of tipsy. I'll be right back. Need to use the restroom. Okay, so let's spend some of these points. Let's see. 34. Well, if I spent 16 points on that out of that 19... I still need to get my science up to 25. So, it was 14. That's good enough. But since I have the points, there we go. And that 1 point in criminal was to get me access to hacking. And heavy weapons, bink, 1 point in that, so that I now have the ballistic calculations ability. Sometimes that's just what you got to do. And then put my last skill point in light weapons. Save that.
Clara briefly looks up from poking around the engine.
So, how's the situation? Sure you don't want some nuts? Water, maybe. I have some here.
Well, not that kind of nuts. Only nuts I see here are the metal ones that go on bolts.
Unscrews a nozzle from under the block, examines it, then screws it back in place.
Huh? The mission? I missed that part. Sorry. Kingsley told me to take you to your group. They've lost connection with them. You don't know anything about that, do you?
Ask how she ended up under the
woman
dome.
Distracts herself from the repairs for a moment.
It was what they call a divine providence. I wasn't content with my life. Felt like he was putting my faith to the test. I was angry with him and wished he would send me a miracle.
She stares past you into the distance, her face radiant.
One day, I suddenly realized the Lord had already shown me a real miracle. My false pride made me think the miracle should be for my eyes only, but it was for everyone to witness. Do you understand?
You realize she's talking about the dome.
Fixes her gaze on you.
You see? Yes, you do. We are all witnesses to a great miracle. The Lord has given us all this to let us know He is near, watching us.
She falls silent, but can barely contain her excitement.
Tell her about the relic that protects against the anomaly.
A smile appears on the Blue's face.
Really? That's good news. We could have been stuck in here for a long time. Radio's still not working.
I'll install
Clara
it.
Slides off the truck's caterpillar track, letting you get to the motor compartment. Clara briefly looks up from poking around the engine.
You lift the hood. A strong-smelling gray smoke clouds the hot, oil-stained engine. This car is going nowhere until the engine cools off. Install the relic. You insert the relic in the space between the filter and the block. A strange thing happens. Thin, translucent roots sprout rapidly from the relic, wrapping themselves around the cylinder block and fuel pump. Get in the passenger seat, and when Clara joins you, head for Nashville.
As you approach Nashville, the realization hits you that something is definitely wrong. The boom at the security checkpoint is up, and the turret indicators are glowing red. Black smoke rises over the parking lot. The automatic guns beep and direct their gun barrels at your vehicle. You and Morgan exchange concerned looks.
Death Proof 30, answer not available. There's a skill. When you get to 30, you get a skill called Death Proof. Well, not skill, but a perk or ability. Order her to step on the accelerator.
Clara floors it. The engine roars as the tractor truck speeds past the turrets and leaves the danger zone. The road turns left, and you're on the main road leading to the complex.
Well, to be specific, the game developers specifically said, we're taking what we love the most about Fallout and Planescape Torment and Baldur's Gate and remixing it. So, yeah, it's sort of a tribute to all three of those, really.
There are bodies everywhere, but no visible survivors. Morgan crosses herself and whispers a prayer. Through the smoke-filled air, you see the red lights of a new batch of turrets taking aim at your vehicle.
Stop here, going further might be worse.
Into a short, controlled skid, positioning it to shield you as you exit. As the turrets swivel to catch up to your truck, the two of you are already on the ground, outside the kill zone. Sitting beside the truck track, you lift your head to see Nashville ablaze. Black smoke billowing overhead and intertwining with the maelstrom above the station. It whirls slowly and majestically, hundreds of tiny green lightning bolts flashing silently in the epicenter. Clara lifts her eyes to the sky, mesmerized by the whirlpool of clouds.
We need to scout the surroundings.
You nod in agreement. Morgan is right. It's time you figured out what happened here.
Although it is also time, well, I can't really do much in the next 15 minutes, so I'm going to end it here. You notice that he's wet. So, -5 to precision, -10 energy resistance, +5 heat resistance, -5 cryo resistance. And, well, things are not looking good. Those turrets will fire on me if I get too close to either end. I do have a manhole down there into the sewers. That's how I'm going to get around. And it's like I need to find my way into either one of these buildings and hack the computer, or find my way over into the maintenance area and disable the generator, that kind of thing. So, this is where I'm going to end it for now. Going to save it there. I will say, if you missed it on Epic when they gave it away, or if you don't have Epic, and I know people who to this day still swear they don't want Epic Game Store, but if you don't have or don't want Epic, it's also available on Steam or Good Old Games. So, it's available those ways. So, again, a quick reminder, if you're new and you would like to support what I do here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great rest of your day. This has been crap. This has been a fun time. Any rate, see you later.